Oh, Duncan, speak.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Jesus. Okay, we had browser issues. We use a browser-based interface. We had browser issues, but we appear to both have sound, so that's good. Hi.
Hi.
How does it feel that Wok beat Twine?
I'm up for it, man. I think a lot of people were apologizing to me in page. I'm fine with it. Like,
apologies.
I have seen the world as Twine. I've seen more times than I can count. So this is good. This is exciting. I did set up some nice lighting behind me, but you can't see it because my microphone is.
We're catching your red light.
You got my red light. That's there. Good. And my ring light's on up here, and I've got that to illuminate my new couch that I have down there. But unfortunately, my old desk is also obscuring that, so I'm just sitting like this, so no one can see.
Oh,
that was my hurriedly set up.
I'm not quite here yet. I've got like this manky pile of books over there, and there's just a sort of void in that area, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing.
You're blue and I'm red, though. That's quite cool.
That's good. Contrast. Yeah. Contrast.
Cheers.
Cheers. So welcome back, everybody, for Twok versus Wok. So this is the thing I missed as well. No, but it is. It's the Wrath of Khan, so it should be Twok versus Twine. But I called it Wok versus Twine, and I missed something. You know, a nice alliterative, phonetic element that I missed. Twok versus Twine.
That's a very good point. Yeah, Twok versus Twine. I like
Twok versus Twine.
I do.
I do. I dare say we'll get to Twine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know. The world is
I was quite fond of that, you know, once. Like, I saw that in the cinema and I quite liked it. But then...
What, Twine?
It's been Twine. Like, Tomorrow Never Dies is the one I've probably watched the most, I think, as I said on the stream. But I haven't seen Twine in a long time.
I don't think time has been kind to Twine. Because... I mean, I you know, it's enjoyable. It's a sort of romp. I think it's... Michael Apted shot it in a very televisual style. In fact, I found out recently he shot it multicam, which is like soap,
like a sitcom or a soap, yeah.
Which explains why everyone's standing center frame and it's not a very cinematic film. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot of second unit stuff with a bunch of intercut with people sort of walking into the middle of rooms and talking to each other.
Interesting.
Fun. It's all right.
It's interesting to see that again. I just saw on the old news, I just saw an obituary for the cinematographer Brian Tufano, who shot the Train Spotting and like Kidulthood and a number of movies.
Oh, okay.
And he's the first DOP I met.
Wow.
He came and did a talk at our uni years ago, bless him. Really fun, engaging talk. He showed clips of his work. And I remember him saying specifically that you shouldn't do storyboards because they're a waste of time. And then the course leader almost having a stroke on the spot and just trying to sort of fix it and go, no, yeah, you should. Yeah, actually, and he's like, I don't, and I'm Brian Tufano. And it was
it's a bit like didn't Werner Herzog say, what did he say? The storyboard is the instrument of the coward or whatever.
I mean, that sounds like him. Yeah. That's a very Herzogian thing to say. Yes. Well, welcome everybody. Sorry for the little hiccup at the start. This is a new status quo, really. I've moved. We've both got good broadband. Oh. This is the status quo. This is it now. This is it forever. So yeah, welcome. So we did a Star Wars versus Bond. We had Bond last time. Twok kind of trounced Twine. I think
you said Star Wars. You mean Star Trek?
Did I really?
Freudian slip, mate.
Fuck my brain. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know, so I apologize. Yeah, trounced Twine, but I think it's just kind of a Star Trek starved. Also, this is like often called the best Star Trek film.
Yeah.
And people do not say that Twine is the best Bond film. So
that's true. Yeah, it's not really an apples to apples comparison. But I mean, a lot of people are sort of saying that this is going to be hell for me and stuff. It really isn't. I have never seen this film before. This is the only problem. I'm going to have to watch it with no sound. So I will endeavor to watch it properly.
I think it needs to be watched properly one night. Brad and I will make you do it.
Yes. No, you should.
Not really.
And I should watch it with you because I want to watch it with people who love it. You know, who can kind of tell me why it's good. But I am not anti-Trek. Like, I think this is sort of misconception that I am. It's just that I haven't watched it, and I've probably taken the piss out of you a few times.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not anti-Trek. It's all good.
Well, the thing, because you've watched and enjoyed the JJ movies, and like Into Darkness is this kind of loose, messy remake of this.
They seem to get hung up on this idea that like from the first one, because part of the first one was that, one thing was different, and therefore everyone's roles kind of got reversed in a way.
Basically, yeah, they do.
And then they seem to carry that into Darkness.
And somebody thinks that's clever, and it's like, and basically, what annoys me about that is that the thing about the first JJ from Star Trek is it is Wrath of Khan, but it's what's his name? Not Nemo. Nero.
Nero. The coffee.
Nero is doing the Khan thing against Spock instead of Khan doing it against Kirk.
Right.
And it even has the time, because this is a sequel to an episode, and the point is that on Earth they used to be cloning, and they made superhumans, and Khan was basically Space Hitler, and rather than face justice, the kind of justice they gave him was they exiled him in cryosleep with all of his crew.
Yes.
And then in the episode, Kirk left them on a planet. But I would argue you don't really need to know it, because when you watch it, that's explained by Khan, like when he turns up angry. He's like, I'm Khan, I'm angry. So, and just like the Into Darkness just takes a version of this story and just so needlessly complicates it.
Right.
Like, it's about Khan's wrath. Khan will wrath. He's going to wrath like shit. Like, he's all wrathy. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I just we have a super chat from Bicolored Porn. Porn. Or hello. He says, so excited for this. I think Duncan would like this one. One of its strengths is that it was made by a non-Trekkie who brought his own perspective. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's directed by Nick Meyer, who was brought in, and because the first movie wasn't really considered much of a success. People don't get mad at me. People love it and stuff, but it didn't have kind of broad appeal. It was quite slow and very kind of 70s sci-fi. Whereas this is the kind of barnstorming, kind of swashbuckling adventure. Bucks will be swashed, buckles will be swashed, swashed will be buckled. I don't know. And it's very nautical and all that. So yeah, it's a fucking cool movie. It's a fun time. It's a good fun time. And I do kind of think you can show it to someone pretty much raw. It's not, despite being a sequel to an episode, it's not massively heavy on backstory, really.
Right. Yeah, I think I started trying to watch it one night years ago, and my wife said, "Turn that stupid shit for cunts off." No, she said,
stupid shit for bald cunts.
No, she said, I think it was just the thing I had to go to bed or so. I don't know. I think it's a chance to really watch it, and he started watching it. So I'm game. I saw something about an earworm or something, and then I turned it off.
Yes, yeah. That's which again they do that in the JJ Trek. They put it Captain Pike. Yeah, don't think it goes to his ear, but he puts the worm thing into Captain Pike.
Yeah.
So it's like when they were like, "Oh, we're doing Star Trek 2 again for Star Trek 2." It's like you did it already.
Right.
It's really frustrating. Kind of like Khan wasn't in it, admittedly, but you did it.
Yeah, he was a Romulan instead. Is that
Romulan? Yeah, he's Romulan. Yeah. I really like Eric Bana in that as well. He's great. He's really cool.
Everyone's great in that film, I think. Yeah, Chris Pine's really good, and Zach Quinto and that.
Yeah, there you go. So, should we start twalk?
Twith.
Do you want to twalk on?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on my TV up here, so I kind of have it set to go. I'm just gonna.
Brian Shields has asked me to fill you in on hashtag Shatner rug speculation, which I will do as we go.
Okay.
This is reviving something that you probably remember it talked about. It predates this channel even. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm glad the torch has been carried for Shatner rug speculation across the generations, which is lovely.
Generations, also a Star Trek reference.
A Star Trek reference. Tell me when you're ready to
I'm good to go, mate. You.
This is, by the way, folks, the theatrical cut, which is on Paramount. We're watching on Paramount Plus. If you want to sync up and you have that, if you have DVDs and stuff, it's not the director's cut. I'm not aware I've seen the director's cut either. So there you go. All right, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say engage because Star Trek. Lol. We'll go with 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Tea, Earl Grey hot. Oh, I'm drinking out. My brother got me this Mr. Worf mug for Christmas. So
very good.
My go-to mug.
Very good.
So Shatner rug speculation.
Someone says I haven't got sound, but have I? I think I do, don't I?
No, I think none of us we never have the sound on from the film because it bleeds into the room.
No. It says why don't I have?
Yeah, because you said earlier you're watching the movie without sound.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you can hear me. That's fine.
Yeah. I think.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, this was directed by Nicholas Meyer, who most famously wrote a book called The 7% Solution, which is about Sherlock Holmes' use of cocaine in 7% Solution, and him going to Sigmund Freud for treatment.
Sigmund
Freud. And that's what
analyzed this.
That's what made Nicholas Meyer famous.
Okay. Cool.
And I don't know why he ended up. I can't remember the exact path of him directing this, but like the idea was to bring someone who wasn't kind of like too beholden to Star Trek, which really, really, really benefits it, I think. Because the first one was not accessible. It's directed by the great Robert Wise, who of course edited Citizen Kane and directed The Andromeda Strain and West Side Story and all the other wonderful things. But it's very, very slow. And it's yeah, and that was when Gene Roddenberry was kind of taken off of this, and he's not really involved, where he was a bit more kind of involved in the first one. And the first one is lovely, but basically they drive to a place, park, do the adventure, and go home. And that's kind of it. But it is cool. It's cool. I like Star Trek Motion Picture, but do I watch it often? No. Do I want to see the cool space fighty one? Yeah, I want to see the cool space fighty one with the adventures and everything. With the late Kirstie Alley in this, in quite a big role, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, really big role. She didn't come back for the sequels. She was replaced by someone else. And of course, like James Horner's music to this and the other Star Trek movies he did, absolutely tremendous. It's Star Trek.
When did this come out?
1982.
Oh, 82. Okay, so
yeah. So motion picture had debuted in the late 70s, so it'd been a few years, and I think they kind of stalled. It's also worth remembering that, you know, Star Trek's this big fucking juggernaut now, but it had 2 series, got cancelled. They brought it back because of a letter writing campaign. It was really bad. They cancelled it again. They had a kind of slightly stumble of a movie, and then this is where it got, I think, mainstreamed, really.
Is this? I mean, this is probably sacrilegious, but is this the Empire Strikes Back?
Pretty much, I would say. I mean, if you're the shorthand being that's the kind of popularly loved, regarded one, right? Like, yeah, very much. This is Empire Strikes Back in that. Okay. They both got star in them.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to draw that sort of comparison. I just meant
it's inevitable. I've already done it, so fuck it.
Yeah, no, I know. What I mean is, it's like the one that kind of got people seeing it as a serious movie-going concern kind of thing. I suppose. Seems to take itself seriously, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's nice about these is like they do have levity in them, and they particularly like Star Trek 4 was wonderful film, and it's basically a comedy. It's pretty much the Austin Powers 2 time travel setup, and then it's all kind of wackiness, but it really, really works. Because like original Star Trek, the kind of humor was they'd be standing around at the end, and then someone goes, "You might say it was a close shave," like that. Right. Shit. Whereas the movies they trade a lot on the relationship. The kind of main triptych is Kirk, Spock, and Bones McCoy, and they have quite funny dialogue and stuff together.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Meyer comes back in Star Trek 6 and works more of his Nicholas Meyer magic, his Sherlock Holmes cocaine Freud magic. Yeah, so there you go. That's my kind of like capsule of Star Trek 2. So everyone will just sit silently and watch the film. Duncan, enjoy Star Trek 2.
Okay.
Milk and
farts.
Milk and farts and poo. Yeah. And there's shitloads of like really important ILM, because I think ILM came on for this one.
There's a lot of wireframe
the first
stuff.
one. Yes, and I think, fuck me, where's Brad when you need him, or Mark? Like, there's one of the first fully computer generated shots. I think when you see when the Genesis planet goes off at the end, I think that's this.
Yeah.
The great thing about being wrong about Star Trek is when you do it, someone will know the right answer straight away.
Yeah, I get that for you. Oh, sorry. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, loads of guys. They are absolute fuckers for reusing effect shots from the previous movie, and that continues into the other 6 or 4, sorry, original crew movies. Just
So
kind of like, oh look,
who's this lot? Are they being attacked? I'm guessing. Who
yeah,
are?
this
It's
is the
not
thing.
the Enterprise, right? Or is it?
This is the Enterprise,
Oh,
yeah,
it is.
and
Okay.
Ciali's the captain.
Oh, okay.
What on earth could be going on? Spock's here, Bones here. Oh look, oh bless fucking Mark's on WhatsApp helping me. Oh god bless. It's one of the things. The Genesis simulation is one of the first. CG things. There you go. I got Mark Price doing a fucking Oracle for me. Hi guys, just want to say a Kirk, a Khan, and a rug. So the thing is, Shatner. This is a great shot. Look at this intro for Kirk.
I'm coming out of the light.
I've been smoking cigarettes out here. So it's a training simulation, Duncan, you see. And she just got the whole... Do you remember in the Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, they say he cheated the Kobayashi Maru test. He cheated on the test.
Yeah.
This is the test.
J.J.
Okay. Abrams Star Trek so slavishly follows things from Wrath of Khan.
Right.
That they're remaking. Mark thinks that John Lasseter might have worked on that shot. Might be one of the first Pixar things. There you go. Fucking Mark's here. Great.
Okay.
Mark is Oracle. Yeah, the kind of the main themes about this, and I know it's something Shatner wasn't mad about, like the themes about aging and growing up, and Kirk can't quite do it, and Shatner increasingly wore wigs and girdles to hide that fact. Because there's a plot point in this where he's like gifted glasses because he's allergic to this. He's allergic to the miracle cure for being short-sighted, so they give him glasses, and he's like, he has to put his glasses on. It makes him feel old and stuff.
When did the first series come out? Was that in the 60s?
1960. Oh wow! Oh no! I'm going to say 1963 and be wrong. It's very early color.
Wow.
God, I'm going to be so wrong, and everyone's going to be mad at me. I'm going to fucking click on a Wikipedia link.
This is like 20 years later.
Yeah, there's a huge gap. Oh, 66. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
1966. Yeah, so there's quite a gap. You know, there's 15 odd years or something between this and that, and it was kind of dormant. Something that I've read about Star Trek is that it was a fandom maintained by women. And like the early Star Trek fandom was mostly housewives. And the early Star Trek kind of conventions, they used to have groups of housewives who'd have Star Trek kind of get-togethers, and they would invite cast members over to their house, because in the 60s it was just a bunch of ladies in a house, and they'd come over and stuff like that. And there's a lot of those people were behind the letter writing campaign, which is great. It's just loads of kind of women making cakes and watching Star Trek. It's sort of lovely.
A bunch of Mrs. Doyles.
Would you like some tea, William Shatner?
And he taught Elvis Presley karate.
He taught Elvis Presley karate.
Pat Mustard.
Oh man. Oh dear. Yeah, 1966. Everyone's bang on it. Like,
yeah.
Oh, Andrew Kay says 63 and was wrong with me. Thank you, Andrew. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I think what works about this is it's got good and heavy themes, and it's got not just kind of in the writing, but like emotionally and visually, because of the nautical thing they go in really, really heavy on. The kind of aging thing. There's stuff about like the loss of innocence. There's stuff about, like I said, kind of refusing to grow up, about kind of fatherhood and relationships and everything. And I think that's kind of what makes it work.
Has he just brought him a bottle of Evian?
It's a bottle of Romulan Ale. Is it Romulan Ale? It's banned in this. It's banned on Earth. It's very, very strong booze. But yes, it's Evian. Ellie Carly bought me some tins of Romulan Ale, and it was like bright blue energy drink, and it was branded as Romulan Ale. It's fucking awesome. And there was like a kind of, those stash can things you get.
No.
One of them was it's a fake can that you put, like, you hide.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
One of them was one of those, so I've got it like, for display purposes. It's fucking great. It's got a
cool
Romulan ship on it.
Now you've just told everyone that you keep valuables in a can of
I actually don't keep anything in it because I just sort of think it's such a sus can. It's just like, if I saw that, I'd pick it up and go, "Fuck me, run me now."
They did. I had a can of Duff. Who was it who gave me? I think my friend Jimmy gave me that. That sat in the fridge for ages, and then I can't remember if I drank it or if I think I dropped it. Like after it had been in there for months, and I went, right, I'm gonna have that can of Duff, and dropped it, and it pissed out all over the floor. But I think no, I didn't. I know what happened to it. I left it. I put it in the freezer. That's what I did. I put it in the freezer to cool it down quickly because it had been in the cupboard, and I forgot about it, and it froze. So I never got to drink it. That's what
you fool. Well, you know, like
but it's probably Foster's or something.
I was going to say the troublesome thing with that is that the in-universe joke is that the beer's really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like when you sell it, it's like, well, no pressure on us then.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, again, I don't even know how you brand that. I mean, it's blatantly just resold. You know, whatever they sell in. You know, you can buy like Tesco lager or whatever.
Well, ironically, it's the joke from The Simpsons with the 3 pipes of the same beer. Or the same fats.
Dolph from Sweden. Needs more dog.
Dog.
This is dog swimming around. Love that.
Oh, it's like the rat milk thing in the school.
Yeah.
I believe that looks very much like a Commodore PET behind, which is Shatner was in the adverts for the Commodore PET. Oh. The original Jupiter I designed. Remember, I designed it like a computer, and you were like, "No, make it like a cabinet."
Yeah.
It was supposed to look like a Commodore PET. I did a kind of Commodore PET thing. And you were right, because we'd have to build that. It would have been a fucking nightmare.
I feel bad now.
Why?
You say stuff like that. You're like, you said do that, and I'm like, oh, did I?
Yeah, but you said it. You said it correctly.
Oh,
I absolutely co-signed that decision.
It's funny because that was your original idea. I obviously threw my weight around or whatever and got it to do that. and the design you did for it, that as a sort of cabinet, was brilliant. Oh yeah, I do remember that conversation. That's right, because I went, no, it's a cabinet, as in my head had been that thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, afterwards was like, I probably should have been a bit.
Look who it is. Look who it is, Duncan.
Oh, it's sold. What's his name? He's from Terminator, right?
From Terminator, Captain Tyrell in this. I've forgotten his real fucking name.
Oh, bollocks, yeah.
Shit, and it was in the credits as well at the start. He's in an amazing episode of. He's an amazing episode of TNG as an alien as well. The Next Generation as an alien. He does a very, very good kind of, probably one of the series' best episodes is him and Picard stuck on a planet. Different character.
He's one of those people who I feel like should have had a much bigger career, but I'm also suspicious that he probably had a big career in like this and Terminator and stuff.
He died, bless him. Paul Winfield is his name.
Oh.
And he died. He passed away. Bless him.
I gathered, but I just thought, did he have a big career before this that I'm just not aware of?
I think he was like a theatre guy, mostly. Okay. I just had Mark say Paul Winfield in my chat as well. Yeah, there you go. This is the delay, Mark.
The delay. Paul Winfield, you twats.
Mark did put. I have watched the director's cut. Mark has pointed out that we watched it pissed up in the caravan in Ludlow on a day off filming Wolf Manor. I think we watched Army of Darkness and this. The director's cut reveals some extra stuff. He is absolutely right.
It's cool, man. I'm excited to watch. Do you know? I just very rarely get a chance to watch films on my own anymore, and I definitely want to watch this. Like, because it looks really cool. I love it. It looks awesome. So,
the production. Mark, listen to Brad's going to watch this. Brad, you're making much fucking right. It's really cool. The production design is great. I think they did this thing on the motion picture, and I joked that the motion picture, everyone looks like they're wearing a book of carpet samples. Like it's this kind of beige, and then so like the red uniforms and stuff in this are new for this, right. And they stuck around for a while, and just like there's lots of new production design. So the thing I want to kind of really talk about is there's Shatner rug speculation. So going all the way back to when Joan Collins was in an episode of Star Trek called The City on the Edge of Forever, and she tells a story where she sat down in a makeup chair next to this little bald man. They worked on him for 45 minutes, and when he got up and was done, that was William Shatner. Right? Now, I got to say, and this is the root of this, and I believe it is a rug, it's a fucking good rug. Yeah. It's a really good rug. I believe these days he's had a transplant or something, but like it's a fucking good rug. And in Star Trek 4, like they have to save these whales. So there's a tank full of water. and Shatner, and it is Shatner, swims through, and you see it waving about. It's fucking good rug work, mate. It's legendary rug work.
Yeah, because they did it with Connery, I think. After Dr. No was his hair, but thereafter, he was always wearing a rug, and sometimes it was more successful than others. I think in things like The Rock, they did a good job with it because it just ages him so much. Like when you see him without that, it's he's just like looks ancient, like with his bald head and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not that I'm saying that all bald people look like that. Sorry, but
I don't rug up, mate.
No, but I think
you'll never know.
I think the advantage that you and Patrick Stewart have, and other people who don't have hair, is that you won't age for decades like him, because it's like everyone's used to you looking like that, so there's no, whereas the rest of us, I'm already like, I had to take pictures of myself for makeup today to send to them. I took pictures of the side of my head and stuff, and there's loads of grey hair in it. I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, that's like the thing. So weirdly, or something I got from my dad is that like the men or the people in my dad's family just don't go grey. So like my dad's 79 now, and he's quite ill, so he started to go grey now. Yeah. Like in the last 5 years, he's stuck to his black hair.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll just have this fiery ginger beard for forever.
That's cool.
Which helps.
Yeah,
which helps.
Mark sent me a text, says it's a proper quality film, bud. I won't do it.
What was that?
I'm sure you'll love it. No, if you're forced to watch it with Richard Brad, I'd love to be there to support your induction and make sure the others don't bully you.
Mark. Well, I was about to say, Mark, you have to be there, and then I was like, no, I don't want Mark there now. I want bullying to happen. No, of course not. Of course not.
No, I'd love to. Do you know what? There would be no finer way to watch this film than with you three gentlemen and Meg as well. And we can sit down.
Yeah, and then slap a Bond on after. There you go.
Slap a Bond on.
Slap a Bond on. So, what you can have in Wrath of Khan. So, Ricardo Montalban returns from the episode The Space Siege, and this blah blah blah. He's got this massive muscle chest, like huge biceps.
Yes, I've seen him, and he's got a proper valley.
Yeah, he's got like a valley.
I remember.
And he was getting on. I can't remember how old he was exactly, but he was kind of getting on. And people were like, "Oh, that's a prosthetic chest," and it wasn't. It was, in the words of Adam West, 100% pure West. So yeah, it's apparently it was all him. I do love the costumes here with the kind of visors, the sand visors.
So he's been in purgatory on this planet, has he?
Exactly. So
and they just captured those guys.
They put them on a planet that was going to be paradise, and then in the intervening years, the other planet in that system was knocked off of its orbit, and it's changed the climate of this planet to be inhospitable. So his wife died, like loads of his crew died, and they've been forced to eke out an existence. They come here as a probe. They think it's one planet. They think it's the planet that's spun off into the sun, and it isn't. It's the one they left Khan on. And Khan thinks he's come there to get them, and he hasn't, and that really fucks him off. Also, the spaceships have this convenient handle for when you're being lifted up by a genetically engineered space Hitler.
Oh, really? I thought they look like a jug handle.
It's
or a door knocker. It could be a door knocker.
It's because when you pee, you just have to lean forward to pour all the pee out of your spacesuit.
Right.
And that's why.
Just they think of everything.
Montalban was 61, says James Atkinson.
Yeah.
He was 61. So there you go.
Look a day over 65.
Yeah, and this is in the days of people looking dreadful.
Well. I was going to say, because Shatner, I was like, how old Shatner is? 32.
32.
Yeah. He's like 90 odd now, isn't he? He went into frigging space. And then when he came back and went, that was rubbish. Don't go to space.
But if anybody pays any attention to Shatner, that's all he was ever going to do, because he's Shatner. He's the grumpiest old man ever. Like, he's this massively grumpy old cunt. Brett Pritchard. Wow, now I know I'm getting old when Shatner rugs feels nostalgic. I was all about that back in the day. Richard originally thought this was Shat's real hair in this flick. Yeah, I was convinced it was real, but my years of dedicated research and exposure has taught me that in actual fact it is a rug.
Andrew Kay says simply dirty Shatner.
Like dirty Shatner. He's such a dirty Shatner.
I'm digging a dump.
So apparently, and I'm going to say this for completists, the issue is that Khan sees Chekhov and goes, Mr. Chekhov. And Chekhov goes, Khan. But the thing is, Chekhov's not in that episode. And they never met. But never mind.
Well, he might know of him, though, right?
Yeah, I think Khan would know of him, but no, he would know of Khan, but Khan would know of him.
Right. Oh, I see. That's the problem. Yes. Okay.
But also, kind of, who cares?
Who
Who cares?
My name is Khan. I assume he talks like that.
Yes, he does. Yes, that's exactly how he talks.
I've been marooned here on this desolate planet. I've been doing push-ups. That's what he's just shouting.
Zoidberg's too nice to be a Khan. He's such a nice lobster man that stinks and is gross.
A buffet. If only I had my wallet.
My mother was a saint.
I can't pay.
This is great. Worms T17. Speaking of Shatner, he did appear in My Little Pony for one episode, and there's an outtake of him talking about how much horse do you want from me?
How much horse?
How much horse? They're not even horses; they're ponies. Shat. There's have you heard the Sabotage clip? It's like an outtake from a voice booth of him having a kind of paddy.
No,
it's great. Like, hold on, Steve. I'll get your sib chat in a sec. It's on YouTube. Basically, it's from some kind of recording session where Shatner has to say the word sabotage, but he says it in like a weird way. He says like sabotage or something, and they're like, "Could you just say sabotage?" And he's like, "Sabotage," like sabotage, sabotage. I'm Canadian. I say sabotage. Like it's just being a cunt
it's
about
a bit
it.
like it's a bit like what's his name? The what's the new Ken Brockman? He's like, I don't say aversion, I say avoision.
Avoision. Has Duncan ever heard Shatner sign? Sing. What? That must be sing. I think you mean sing, Steve.
I've heard that. Well, I've seen all the like piss taking. Like they did it on Family Guy, didn't they? They did the whole.
You know, the thing of Family Guy of him smoking the cigarette. And
yeah,
that's based on
a.
It's really very bad. Rocket Man.
Yeah, he's just saying it because that's what Stewie did it in Family Guy. I think it's just
right.
Yeah,
burning out on fumes here alone, and he's taking it so seriously.
I think I'm gonna be.
It's so bad. He's released a lot of music. Leonard Nimoy did music as well. He did a song about Bilbo Baggins. It's shit, yes. David Devolution, he did a version of Common People by Pulp, which is just wow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because they did it again with in Futurama with what's his name? What's his name? What's the
Zach Brannigan.
Zach Brannigan, thank you. Zach Brannigan.
Right,
does it.
Okay.
Yeah, because Coca-Cola. Her name was Lila. Yeah.
There's like the original crew are in that episode of.
Yeah.
Minus the dead ones.
They go to that planet where that aliens keep that alien cloud or whatever's keeping them on the planet.
It's like we'll have a Star Trek. What's it? A Star Trek convention. It will last for eternity.
Yeah. And it turns out
this is where he puts the old earworm in the old logo. Right in the logo.
Right in the logo.
It involves a giant ear, which I always just kind of have a little bit of a snicker at. It's just like
a giant prosthetic ear made of my ear once.
There you go. You're basically Chekhov. You're basically Walter Koenig.
Yeah, I basically am. For a film called Kenneth. Didn't we watch
that? Oh, we watched Kenneth on a
stream. So because I don't know if you can hear me, so I'm talking away from my mic. A goblin come out my ear. Goblin, come out my ear. Come out my ear. Down the back of my legs, my ass. That's my father-in-law, who I've never met and have no intention of meeting, sounds exactly like that.
I was going to say that sounds like your father-in-law impression.
So that's what I do over there. It's that sort of fucking, dickhead Londoner.
All right, look at the ears.
Oh,
the old Casey ears.
Because in the Abrams Star Trek, the worm looks like that, but he puts the whole thing down his throat. He doesn't pick bits off.
Down his throat. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, to achieve the same end.
Yeah,
like it's
like a truth thing.
It's again, and I really liked how Star Trek 2009 remade this, and it was like, that's good. And then they're like, we're doing that now because you all love Khan. It's like, no, stop.
That sounds like it just sounds like a studio note, doesn't it? Because they go like, well, you did it, but you didn't say the word, so do it again and say the word.
Say the line, Bart. It's very like you know, what's the thing everybody knows.
Yeah,
Khan, like.
Well, because it was a sequel, I guess they went, well, you've got to do Wrath of Khan. But
with Star Trek 2, so we're doing Star Trek 2. But we've got Star Trek 2 and it's fine. In fact, we've got it twice now because of you. Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Please stop. Yeah, you know, so but again, I really, really like 2009. We did a commentary, one of our very early doors commentaries was Star Trek Beyond, because I commentaried every Star Trek film apart from that at that point.
Right. Yeah. We did that I enjoyed that. I think they're a great trilogy of films. I really do. I mean, I know people don't like Into Darkness. And I get why. I can't
stand Into Darkness, but I like the first and the third one. I like the first and the third one. Yeah. I'm not mad about the third one, but I like it. It's a bit kind of, you know, it had no weight. You know, it's just like, here's another episode with the gang. And it's like, yeah, but this isn't television. Oh, I've just noticed your chat window's misaligned. Everybody look away. Let's go drag duck. Dragging you off to the side. Look away, everybody. Hide my shame. That's better. So, yeah, you know, I just feel like that's... I do like... what's that called? Beyond. Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because I always do the same thing. So it makes me think of a Madness song, and I go, Star Trek Beyond. That makes me laugh. So here we are meeting the crew of the Starship Enterprise.
Right.
You'll know Scotty, of course. You know Bones. You know Sulu. You know Spock.
Yeah.
You know all these guys. They look older here.
It's
Spock
funny
looks increasingly like someone's nan as it goes on.
Chain smoking nan.
He was. I think emphysema is what killed him. He was a real smoker.
Yeah, he looks like it. Yeah. Dirty shitter as well.
Imagine Spock's. They're like green, probably.
It's interesting. You know what's weird is because I've seen the Abrams Star Trek films and isn't Justin Lin did Beyond the
yes, he did.
And I've seen like when I was younger, I watched Deep Space Nine and some of the Next Generation stuff. So I've never watched the original people be those characters, like, and then I've seen all the piss take stuff. So I've never, you know, all the parodies that were done in The Simpsons and all that kind of stuff. So I've never actually watched William Shatner be Captain Kirk.
Right.
Watched about 5 other people do it, but not him.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But like these movies, the 6 Trek movies. You know, the idea is that I think Khan sets the tone, and then 2, 4, 5, and 6 of the other original crew movies, they have this kind of look and feel to them broadly. I think when people remember these characters, they're remembering the movie versions, and they're not exactly like they were on TV.
Okay.
You know, the broad strokes are there, like, but they're a bit more developed, I think, in the movies. And I think those are the versions that are remembered. I think the first JJ movie does a pretty good job of kind of emulating the TV version of the characters, because that's where they're supposed to be in the timeline as well, isn't that kind of...
Right, yeah.
But I think the thing, look, the real thing, like, honestly, they're just such a one of the brilliant things they did for the 2009 Star Trek is this is a really fucking hard cast to beat. And they did a really good job casting the Abrams Star Trek movie. Like, that cast is on point. They're all fucking great. And they're big shoes to fill, you know, because the core cast, like the bridge crew, they all have these kind of different interloping relationships and all different chemistry. And the movies split them off into different twosomes and stuff to go off and do side quests and whatever. And, you know, there's humor derived, like in one of them, like Uhura and Scotty are really flirty. And, like, you know, in Star Trek Beyond, they do the thing of Spock and Bones kind of hating each other and, you know, but not really, and all of that. And Kirk and Spock are kind of like the bestest friends in the whole wide world. And that's why this film's sad, because, you know, he's like this bit here, like Spock's been captain of the Enterprise, Kirk's an admiral. Kirk can't hack being an admiral because he wants to be out in the field, but also he can't deal with getting old. Spock's been put in charge, but then they immediately commandeer the Enterprise and go, no, Kirk has to be in charge. And Spock just goes like, I don't have an ego, don't worry about it. I'm not a Vulcan, I'm a Vulcan.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think all the relationships here are great, and there's stuff really going on with the characters and everything. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Great model work there.
So
Look at the lovely spaceship.
So are they being sent to rescue the people?
Yeah. So basically, Khan has brainwashed the crew of the Reliant, and he sent a distress signal out because he wants Kirk.
Right.
He's pissed off, despite the fact he's got magnificent hair and a lovely chest.
So why is he pissed off at Kirk? What Kirk done?
Because Kirk's the one who abandoned him on that planet in the original episode.
Okay.
It's kind of not Kirk's fault because Kirk, as far as Kirk knew, Kirk was leaving him on a paradise planet. What happened next wasn't Kirk's fault, perhaps a bit negligent, but Khan's mad. Khan's just mad. He's very angry. Do you know, people often say, I was walking down the street the other day, and I was going down the street, and when just a person walks up to you and goes, "Hey, Richard Jackson," and you go, "Yeah, that's a true thing that happens." They said to me, "Don't you think, Richard Jackson walking down the street, that the actor Benedict Cumberbatch, what done as Sherlock, does he not remind you of Ricardo Montalban?" And I said, "Yes, he does. Yeah, I think his mannerisms, his look, everything about it reminds me of the Latino actor Ricardo Montalban." And then the person went, "Nice to meet you," and walked off. And I went, "You too." It's anecdotal, but it happened. It's true.
Yeah, it's that's one of those, like, it's a bit sort of stunt casty, and it's kind of I don't know what you're saying. I think the thing is, again, with the thesis being that people have changed roles. It's like, right, and also, like, I'm really not sure what Into Darkness has to do with this, really, other than that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, because it set up all the Khan stuff, but, well, as I said at the time, it's what's the Wrath of Khan, but Khan has nothing to wrath about. Like, the point of this is that Khan's taking revenge on Kirk. In Into Darkness, he's just kind of a dick, and it's just like, well, he's just there for the sake of being there, and you've cast someone who's nothing like the original character whatsoever. I seem to remember there was talk that they wanted Benicio del Toro for that originally, which I think would have been pretty nuts, actually. And I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but it's just like, why is he like a posh English guy now?
Yeah,
like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't brilliant in the first place. It was a Latin in the episode The Space Seed. It's very much a Latin actor in brownface with the with the name Khan. It's not great, but like,
it's set in the future. You don't have to make him racially, like, just make him whatever the character is. Don't call him Khan, or like, even if he's called Khan, what does it matter? Like, people could have.
Yeah. Well, this is a funny thing, isn't it? I think people are really hung up on surnames, like, because, like, there's no reason my surname could very easily be Patel or Chan.
Yeah,
like, that's how marriage and divorce works. And even there's all kinds of other reasons. People get really it can't be English, and it's like, what the fuck?
Like, my grandfather was Sri Lankan, and so my surname, had he been my father's dad, my surname could have been Nathaniel's, which is with a Z at the end.
So Polish or
Nathaniel's?
Sri Lankan?
Yeah, it's this weird sort of Sri Lankan spelling of it, but it's like, I don't know I think if you go back far enough, it's like someone chose that name rather than it being, because families used to do, didn't they? Like, I don't know, like,
yeah, like anglicizing things was huge, wasn't it? Lots of
anglicizing stuff,
that,
and then, but also, like, it would be like, to escape persecution, or to change, changed it from Hitler to Jeffries or whatever, just that sort of.
I was going to say, I would, just to be clear, I would very much watch a film called Star Trek II: The Wrath of Jeff, but it doesn't quite have the and Khan is his first name as well. It's Khan Indian Singh. Like, it's like, it's his first name.
Oh, Singh is his surname.
Yeah,
but again, though,
so
call him
well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, but I mean, I don't have an issue with that. But if that's what you are, like, don't fucking make him Benedict Cumberbatch. And it's not even like he's trying to do an approximation of the performance. He's just Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
it's like, all right. I mean, he's good at that, and he's good at other things. But it's like, just like, say, just like a stunt cast. And then they did that J.J. Abrams bullshit of, like, going like, oh no, his name's Pete Davis, or do you know what I mean? Like,
we went through that ridiculous, like, fake out phase. Yeah, he wasn't Khan. fucking Christoph Waltz wasn't Blofeld. What's the other one? There's another one. Bollocks.
Yeah, I see.
What's the other one? I can't remember now.
No, her name's Hilary Jacobs. It's not Lady Penelope.
Thank you. Yeah, it's bloody Marion Cotillard in The Dark Knight Rises. They call her Miranda Tate. And it's like she's fucking.
I got there by. I'm not going to say I got there, but I kind of led you there by accident. If that,
yeah.
That helps at all.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. And they started off that quite well, because with Batman Begins, if you remember, Ken Watanabe was Ra's al Ghul.
Yes.
And again, they did the same thing, but they kept it quiet until the film was released. And even toys were like, what was Liam Neeson's character?
Ducards, Henri Ducards.
Yeah, and but then that was a smart sort of plot twist.
Yeah, and they didn't make a big song and dance about it, did they?
No. Yeah, and because he doesn't say I am Ra's al Ghul.
It's a great misdirect as well, because he looks like Ra's al Ghul, but you don't think that because it's done down this realistic route, and they put Ken Watanabe in there, and it's like, oh, well, he's Ra's al Ghul. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
And it's their way of saying he's immortal, because actually it's just a name. It's made up fucking.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, lots of ganky monitors in this. Lots of ganky fucking filming of old like analog screens and shit. I guess where I'm working in June.
Space? I don't know. Is it tied to this?
No, it's just like I just thought I'm going to say the thing that I got booked for earlier because it made me laugh. And my exact words I was booked on it by a mate, and my exact words were, "I'm keeping all my jokes to myself." The Royal College of Gynecologists. Yeah, that's it.
Well, there you go.
I feel like I'm not even sure I can reverse engineer a joke. Something about looking at twats or something like that. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, man.
Interesting.
Look at Spock Sweet. He's got an infinity mirror bought in Athena.
Got it off Alibaba.com.
He's also got that poster of the tennis girl scratching her bum.
Ah,
yes.
Classic.
All of the
and things. The cat hanging from the.
Yes. What was it? Like
I forget now. It's something to do with like you're having a bad day or whatever.
Yeah. It's like lucky or not, that cat's definitely dead by now.
Yeah. When Kong Exchange just wrote Queef.
Queef.
He looks fucking haggard, doesn't he, old emo?
Bless him, and he does increasingly as they go on. But you know, bless him, he was pretty old when he went.
He got into his 80s, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, because he's a bit older than Shatner, I think, or would have been. I think they really fell out. Like they didn't speak in the last years of his life, which is a real shame. Our view count just jumped to 216. Which I'm not sure it was. I'm not sure that's real.
It's weird.
216 according to YouTube. Hello everybody, welcome to this oddly low energy watch party we've got going on tonight. Our most spectacular is it because I said Royal College of Gynecologists? Is that it?
It could be, yes.
Like Popeye.
The
Royal College of Gynecologists. The SEO.
Ben Haslam sent us £5. Thank you, Ben. It says, "Evening all, joined late. I hope everyone is well. How much important brain space has Duncan now lost to obscure Trek lore?" I don't have much. So
if it is measured in terabytes,
I've probably forgotten how to make soup or something. Make room. Yeah,
classic. Absolutely classic. Yeah, I'd lost my Star Trek there for a minute. I lost it. Yeah, we jumped up to 218 somehow. Welcome everybody. If you're really here, it's quite confusing. We haven't had these kind of numbers since the very first watch party, and it happened instantly, which makes me think it's not real, unless someone of note posted it somewhere, which is unlike us because we're deeply unpopular. Omar says, "Big time courtesy of Peter Gabriel," which tells me Peter Gabriel himself must have posted it.
Could be. Yeah. Maybe he wants to be our sledgehammer.
See, look at that hair. That's quality rug.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's a high quality rug. Yeah, that's right, everybody. The 216. You've turned up in time for hashtag.
It's like when people dye it, and it's kind of like it's all one color, so it doesn't really work. Like guys' hair, because if it's short, it's very hard to dye convincingly. Because I had a hairdresser friend of mine tell me this once. Because it's all the same color. So and hair doesn't look like that. Like my hair's got loads of different shades in it and shit, and you can't really make it look convincing. That's hence why fucking Steven Seagal looks like Dracula, because
do you know what?
I mean, he's not done
Arnie's back to dyeing his fucking hair again. It's like, dude, you look so good. You look so good with grey hair. Like you look really cool.
Yeah, just let it be, man. He's like, no, I have to look like I'm in my 20s again. It's like, you don't. You never will.
Dude,
give it up.
Dude. Fucking Travolta gave up the ghost, didn't he?
Yeah.
And started bicking it. He looks great. He looks great. And he's not wearing makeup and shit. He looks way better. It's like, guys, come on.
What? It's so weird.
Oh, my God. It's so weird.
It's so weird.
I was accused by a friend, humorously, at Christmas, having talked about my... And I'm nearly 40, I've still got my ginger beard. Men in my family don't generally go grey. I was accused of dyeing my beard ginger at Christmas by a mate. And I was like, okay, let's just think this through. So I've discovered grey hairs. Exactly. So you're telling me I've found grey hairs and then given an opportunity to reinvent my beard and dye it, I've continued almost the worst color. Like, I'd be surprised if they even sold ginger. You know what I mean?
It's not the worst color. I don't know if my hair's what's going to happen to my hair, whether it's going to fall out or it seems to be going very slowly going grey. But then I had grey hairs cropping in my sort of when I was like 27, 28. So I don't really seem to have any more than I did then. So whatever. I can't do anything about it. Can I? If I can either fall out or I don't know.
I've actually got hair and I colour it flesh colour.
Right.
So you can't see it. I don't know why I would do that. I'll tell you what I've found. Look, Wrath of Khan's about aging, right? 220 people. I've got a really long eyebrow hair.
Oh yeah, I get
like a really long eyebrow hair.
And ear hair and nose hair, and it's like, why? What does my body think's going to happen? Like, you need this now. Why? Like, I didn't before.
I had a physics teacher who was basically like a tree. Like he looked like,
I know the type.
You know what I mean? It's like a Samiad.
I had a PE teacher like that. We used to call him. He was Mr. White, and we called him Wookie White because he of course had that horrible juxtaposition of losing the hair on his head, but you'd have tufts of hair sticking out of his polo shirt. These people who you just think, how hairy are you? Like, you see sometimes with people like. Some people, it's just like Dan Hedaya or someone like that. It's just like and I used to work with a guy, again, bald on top, but like his hair, because he would shave it, but you'd see obviously the stubble underneath, and he'd have a stubbly beard, but it would connect under his ear and go down his neck, and it's like, and then you could see, like, if a bit came out like that, you could see the big tuft where he'd sort of he'd stop shaving, and it was just like sticking out. I mean,
it's it's that kind of like growing out of the shirt shit.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on under there?
Oh, hold on, I missed a super chat. Ben Haslam, I'm sorry, £5 says Ben.
No, I told you.
Well, no, we did it.
But
there's
Steve
Allen.
Yeah. Do you want to read
that? We will see Richard's Dr. Venture cosplay. So I'm a good ringer for Dr. Venture. The only problem, Steve, I've done with Dr. Venture is that I'd have to shave this off and have the goatee beard, and I'm not sure I could do. I would look like a kind of really low rent assassin from a very cheap future if I shaved off the side. I've not shown my chin has not been seen to the world for nigh on 10 years now. It's horrifying. I don't want to show. I look like a hot dog with a face drawn on it. It's just like this long shaft of mini milk. It's like a mini milk out of an Action Man jumper. Like, you're shaking your head, but when this comes off and you see the fucking dimples and the little non-chin, no fucking chance. Bad enough not having any hair. Or look like a fucking cosplay of a thumb. Phil Mitchell's nutbag.
Right.
And that's what it says on my Tinder profile.
Little to add to that. I haven't. Yeah, I normally have. Well, you can't really see it at the moment, but I've got like a kind of a bum chin, which I always forget. And then if I shave, which is rare, like if I properly shave, like I see it and I go, oh yeah, I've got some, not a full on like
Buzz
dimple,
Lightyear.
but yeah, it's just sort of a bit bummy.
I got the dimples here, and it kind of
yeah.
makes me look younger, but like it also looks like someone's just squeezing your head. It's collapsing inwards.
Right.
There's lots of talk about people's various hair situations and male pattern baldness. This is a film about aging. We're on topic somehow. Yeah, it was DeForest Kelly, the great DeForest Kelly, who played Bones. He would have been 100 last week.
Oh wow, okay,
that's aging. Scotty was shot into space, or bits of him were. Bits of his ashes were sent into space.
Oh.
James Doohan, that's fucking cool. The mighty Nichelle Nichols, who was, oh man, I think she was like told to take the part by Martin Luther King or something. There's some kind of story, or she there was something about that with Nichelle Nichols. She died this year, bless her. I'm pretty sure that last year.
Martin Luther King Day, wasn't it? Or something? When was it? Last week?
Martin Luther King Dave. Hello. Martin Luther King
Martin
Dave.
Luther
I know I know. I don't know. There'd be an American holiday. I just don't know.
Yeah, true.
And a fatuous Philistine that I am. Cheers for entertainment tonight, lads. So Steve Arnold giving £5. Steve Arnold, by the way, everybody's working on a short film of his own. If you want to pop any links in the chat, you can do that, Steve, if you've got anything to show at the moment.
Very good. Steve, hang on. I am honestly losing. It was you, Steve. Steve wrote to me on LinkedIn. He sent me a script.
And me.
Yeah. Okay. I've read the treatment, but I haven't.
Yeah, same. I'm same as Duncan. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve watched Touch Your Bleed.
Hey, cool.
So you go. Those of you in the Essex area, we're screening in Romford on the 25th of Feb, and I'm quite excited about that one. It's a really cool horror festival, and we're going on after a documentary about Lucio Fulci, which is really exciting because the film's influenced by Lucio Fulci. I know most of the people watching don't care about Touch Your Bleed, but it's finished now and it's kind of out. So come and join us in Essex. It's a very uninviting. Do you want to come to Essex with me? No, we don't. Well, that's all I can give you, mate. That's the best I can do.
When is it? When's the Romford?
25th of Feb.
Right.
I'm going to do an overnighter because there's really interesting documentary called Life on the Farm, which has been partially released by the Found Footage guys and Found Footage Festival guys, and it looks really, really interesting. There's a guy in Somerset made a feature-length film on VHS tape on his own, and when he died, they found it in his house, and it's just this apparently the most deeply insane thing.
Wow.
And Romford posted about it the other day. So
the 28. I don't know.
25th.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do that. No, bollocks. Shit. Sorry. You won't see me there, unfortunately.
Duncan Casey is dead to me.
Oh no. Well, I can't make any. I just honestly, like, it just seems like my whole life is booked up for the rest of the time. Every time I think I can do something, I can't. And in fact, that's oh no, I can't say it. I can't say it publicly. So forget that.
Duncan's doing something cool.
No, it wasn't that. It was something else.
Duncan got his bum out on a bus.
No, it's just that I will spoil a thing for someone if I say it. So I don't want to. Yeah, sorry. No, but I am doing a cool thing. The cool thing I'm doing, I'm starting. Well, I've got to go and have all my wardrobe and stuff on Sunday, which is annoying. And then I'm starting next week on that. So. And my daughter kindly gave me a cold that I feel like I'm coming down with now. So
good.
Just in time.
Don't worry, it's not like you've been. It's not like you've been horribly ill recently.
I know.
Oh, wait, you were.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, just never ends. But there you are. So yes. Yes. Duncan's in court. You know what? John Smith says Duncan's in court. I actually will be in court. Well, potentially will be in court in May now.
Did we talk about?
We talked about it on Patreon stream.
On Patreon stream, yeah, I thought
whenever it was. Anyway, but yes. So I got a friggin' summons for jury service in February, and I was supposed to start this film, and I was like, "Fuck off, no!" So I've had to, I luckily was able to postpone it to May. Anyway, who cares? No one cares about that.
No one cares. Kieran Fremantle, who's got another short in the offing that looks really fucking cool, Kieran.
Oh, nice.
It was really good. Did you hear about Eva Green's WhatsApp messages where she calls the film crew peasants? Did you read that story?
No.
Yeah, it's really fucking grim, hoity. Like
What?
she walked out of a film because she didn't get the crew. She wanted veto on the crew. And then in WhatsApp messages, she referred to the crew that were coming on as like, what was it? Hereford peasants or something like that. It's like, oh, fuck you, love. Get a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, get fucked.
That's awful. Wow. Okay.
Peasants.
I don't know what. Well, I don't know what her background is or anything. I met her years ago, and she was very sweet. But
was she green?
She wasn't, but she was.
And once again, we're lied to. If she was Eva. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's something, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah. She was perfectly nice, but I mean, yeah, who knows? Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, the problem. This is the thing. I just wouldn't say anything to anyone nowadays. I don't like even when I get emails or WhatsApps.
You're all a bunch of cunts.
Yes, I'm not working with these cunts. No,
I'm not working with these cunts. She would definitely call me a peasant if she saw what I worked on. She'd call me a peasant. Probably I'm a peasant compared to Eva Green. Fuck you, Eva Green, you sexy arsehole. That'll teach her. That was show Eva Green.
Teach her for breaking James Bond's art. Fucking
exactly.
No, exactly. she was very nice. But I don't know why she just came and started speaking to me and this guy Sean, who I was working with on Dark Shadows, and she just came and chatted. But she was right.
Hello, peasants. I'm Eva Green. Presumably.
Which one of you is going to shine my shoes?
Did she have a big long cigarette in long lady gloves? Yeah, she was being carried on one of those chairs, presumably.
That's right.
Yeah. Bloody Eva Green.
I find it, to me, it's something I'll never know, but the sort of being shot to fame at a young age cannot be good for your mental health or sense of perspective.
God, right? No, absolutely not. Like, dude, it must fuck you up completely. Like,
yeah, it's not a good thing. I mean, this is why I want to make a documentary about Eddie Furlong, because I think he and I would have an interesting. I mean, if he was, Compass Mentors, I think we could have an interesting story, interesting chat, because it's like he attained the thing. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be mega famous, but he attained the thing that most people in my position are seeking, like out by luck, and then has sort of limped on with this kind of a career as an actor. Whereas I'm the other way around. I've like always worked, and I've been, and so it's kind of like, I don't know. I think there would be an interesting.
He was, he was, when using his own words, when I worked with him, he was clean. He talked about that on camera. He's like, he was clean and he was in recovery. So, I hope that's continued.
For the purposes of that, I am
clean. Not far off, yeah, but
yeah. Well, no, I jest, but I hope he's clean too. I don't. I think it's an awful. Yeah, again, you see, this is the thing when you're young and you're suddenly. So I said this about Justin Bieber. It's like all of a sudden your parents have no leverage over you. No one can tell you no. And then and because you're young and ego driven, especially as a dude, you surround yourself with yes people because they tell you what you want to hear. And then you basically end up like fucking Vladimir Putin, except without nukes, so it's just like, well, because what are your parents going to do? Go to your room. In which mansion?
In which wing of the house?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off, mum. Like, fuck you. So yeah, it's not.
There was approximately 9:25. There was a spike of 140 viewers, and no one else has joined the chat.
Right.
Feels sus. Sorry, we're going to do Sean's.
Sorry, I was going to say I didn't want Sean's super chat to go unless he sent €5. Thank you, Sean. It says fun night so far. Fun night so far. Been weirdly on topic, feeling quite calm after a stressful week. Be good, heart. Also, Richard, new Deep Space. Good reviews so far.
Dead Space, yeah.
Oh, Dead Space.
Remake of Dead Space is coming out.
Oh, my brain. Eyes to brain connection.
Sean is an avid member of the gaming stream club. You see, and I did Dead Space 2.
Oh, did you? I was a
Mm.
big Dead Space. I think I played the first Dead Space. Whenever it came out, I mean, fucking ages ago, right? Scared the shit out of me, which is why I didn't really play it that much. But I thought it was really brilliant. Yeah, I don't really game. I got a sudden inkling to buy an Xbox the other day. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get one and put it in here, and then I can have the odds, whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, but no, I don't know. Maybe I will.
GoldenEye is finally getting re-released at midnight tonight.
Oh, I saw an advert for on the Switch. Is it
Switch and Xbox?
Oh, cool.
Let's talk about Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Let's do that
for a moment. So I feel like this is going to be.
Yeah.
See, look, now I've caught. How fucking weird is that? I called out those views and they all dropped.
Yeah, it's a shame. Wish you hadn't done it then.
That feels suspicious to me. Well, something to be wary of because I've shut down your channel if they think you're paying bots to come on your channel, which we have not. But I've used that, seen that weaponized. That is very fucking weird. Anyway, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So, do you know what's interesting here, Duncan? Khan and Kirk never meet.
Oh,
the whole movie, it's all done by telescreens, and it's a really nice version of like ship-to-ship combat, and they have to do kind of trickery and deception to each other. Khan's whole thing is that Khan is this kind of like, he's basically fucking Niles Crane. He's all kind of literature obsessed. Kirk has like a copy of Moby Dick. He's obsessed with Moby Dick. He quotes Moby Dick at him. Like, Kirk is his white whale. It costs him everything. The pursuit of Kirk costs him everything. Moby Dick's a thing running through the film, you see. You see, Duncan.
What happened to
see, Duncan? What do you mean?
Well, he's dead. And also, is that Scotty? What happened to those two?
That's Scotty's nephew.
Oh.
They got blowed up because you haven't been watching the film.
No, I know. We've been talking about Dead Space and hair.
You only find out that that's Scotty's nephew in the director's cut.
Oh.
Mark pointed out to me. He's still there, Mark. He's still there. There's a good. So you remember in Return of the Jedi when Luke's flap comes open and shows that there's good inside him?
Beg your pardon. Oh, right.
Yeah. We see Kirk's opens the flap on his tunic, and in this scene it becomes stained with blood.
Yeah.
Because he's been tainted by his past actions, you see. And it's a taint that carries forward, and that's good visual storytelling. That's
like
good
the man who went
work.
arse first down the water slide. It's a taint that carries forward.
It's a taint that carries forward. It's a gooch that goes, if you prefer.
I do. I do
prefer. A perineum that proceeds.
If it can be alliterated, it must.
It will be. Yeah. So I wonder which kind of sketchy Russian bots came into our chat. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Not at the moment. I'm not quite sure why Russia's disinformation campaign would extend to our puny little channel.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. We're so popular. How better to disseminate information to the
Can you
West?
imagine if World War III started because he pinned it all on some... He's like, find the most pissant YouTube channel you can. Comrade.
I mean, like, not a kid with 12 followers shit, but not like a dad with 400 shit. Kind of thousands of followers, stagnated viewership shit. That's the level. That is the level we want. That'll do it.
Yes.
Do they have quiff and fuss?
Yes. But, find some that are too obsessed and, have Peace Week film analysis. That will be our patsy.
Edging men children, we use them. No. Stephen Allen gives £5. So Kelsey Grammer was in Star Trek wearing these uniforms. He played a timed space captain in The Next Generation. So. Cool. Ever find it weird how Fraser wore the uniform from this film and killed Patrick Stewart and the TNG crew multiple times? Nah, Steve, I found it awesome. Great episode. It's a good episode, that one. I can't remember what it's called. They're always called Forever's, Yesterday's, Tomorrow, or whatever. They've all got names like that.
Oh, right.
Some really highfalutin fucking Star Trek episode names. There you go. Putin heard that Val Verde was a nation of utmost value and sent his bots to evaluate you cut those guys.
That's true.
It's true.
Maybe we could put the missile there.
Does Kirk have ketchup on his napkin? Says Eric Granland. What's your time code, by the way? Just check we're synced.
It looks like they're walking around with cordless drills.
They are. They're Black and Deckers.
An hour.
I'll tell you what, though. Those. Sorry. Yes, go on.
1 hour and 32 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, cool. We feel at what I found Paramount Plus. If you tab to another window, which I've been doing for purposes of stream maintenance, it pauses.
Oh,
it's really not useful. They weren't really anticipating stream cunts. See, Wrath of Khan is quite dark. Like, I hate, it's dark, it's gritty. But like, you've got the stuff in here. Yeah, like they've slaughtered this crew. Jeez. Basically. They've just absolutely slaughtered this crew. And there's some stuff coming up that's just fucking. I mean, this is probably as bad as it gets. I think. Like the rest of it's more kind of ship to ship combat and stuff. And it's very tense. Like there's an episode. There's a classic episode called "The Balance of Terror," which is where, unlike this, they can't even really see each other properly, and it's submarine combat, right? And it's a tension. So it's like Das Boot or something before Das Boot. It's like this submarine combat. And that's sort of what this is like. It's the naval combat thing, and there's just loads of tension from two people looking at each other on a screen, and then like they're literally turning their backs and sort of whispering to each other, and you see them kind of discreetly jabbing, like they're distracting Khan so they can jab certain buttons and stuff like that. There's a bit famously where Spock speaks in code. That's just really sort of. I think it's why it works as kind of a movie that doesn't require all the backstory or anything like that. It's not about the chosen one finding the Mengdenk of Skernlar or whatever. It's we're in trouble now. A guy's coming to get us.
We've said this before like 1,000 times. It's like if it's if it's character driven and thematically sound, you don't have to. All the procedural stuff is sort of irrelevant. I've had this. I'm developing a film at the moment, and the director and writer, we're in a WhatsApp group, and God love them. He sent. I was like 91 notifications from it the other morning, and I was like,
Christ.
And it was all kind of like, what if the monster this and that and the other, and that explains why and I went, this is all brilliant, but I was like, it's good for you to know this. The audience doesn't need to know this. I said, you show it, you don't tell it. I don't want some scene of exposition where someone goes, maybe it doesn't like tuning forks or whatever. That's how we can defeat it. I don't want that. I just, no. It's all, and that's why. And I used the Predator example. I said, Stan Winston knows what that thing on his fucking helmet does, right? But we don't need to, because as long as it looks purposeful, that's all that matters, So I'm really trying to build that film, because I think that's a great film, and that film has really nice subtext and allegory, I can't really talk about it, but it's I think it's let's just lean into that more, and let's and make it thematically sound, and because then you know what to do, don't you? You know this, like you did this with Type 2 Bleed. It's that thing of when I know what I'm saying here about the human condition and what sort of is the emotional heart of this, and what themes I'm exploring. I know where to put the camera. I know how to light it. I know why this scene is going to look this way. You know what I mean? It just makes it so much easier.
For example, in Type 2 Bleed, we have Mike's character do a massive exposition dump, and the joke is you're not listening.
Yeah.
Like so it's kind of meaning, like the joke there to me is you have the character do the kind of awkward exposition dump that you would get in a movie that over explains, but then the gag is like it's been completely lost. It was a waste of time because your character wasn't listening to it. And it is not a new joke, but you can draw attention to it by doing it and subverting it and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also talking about, because one of your themes is like nostalgia might be a bad thing, and you've got a guy who's like, who, as it turns out, has been spoilers. Well, all right, he's nostalgia is a big part of him, so fine. But whereas my character isn't. But anyway, okay, that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. Once it's out, you can spoil the arse off it. Spoil the arse off it.
Jesus.
Jesus. It's pretty cold down here in Brighton. I want one of these big coats. I reckon if you sold one of these, if you saw one of those in Superdry, it'd be like 270 quid.
I bought a coat from Superdry and this jumper actually. We did this rehearsal for this film I'm about to go on to back in November, and James, the director, lovely fellow. I don't know why we were talking about clothing brands and where we get stuff from, and he said Superdry. He bought some jeans from Superdry. And he goes, but I don't really like it. I said, yeah, I don't really like Superdry either. So I don't really get it's not me really. It's just not my brand. He goes, yeah, not mine either. But I have this uncle who still thinks, like, ever since I was 18, when I used to buy Superdry stuff, he always buys me vouchers every Christmas. So, and I don't have the heart to tell him that I don't shop there anymore. So I end up having to buy stuff from Superdry. But then I went into Superdry the other day and I was like, oh, I really like that. I really like, so I ended up buying a bunch of stuff from Superdry. And then I had to buy my wife a version, the ladies' version of my coat because she kept stealing it because it's very warm.
Right, because it's warm.
So,
back up to 222 genuine viewers who are here to watch us doing a Star Trek.
How do you know they're genuine?
Because I'm just good at that. I can smell it.
Because Vlad told you.
I could smell all the megabytes. That smells like internet to me. Sorry.
It smells like
I'm amusing myself, so that's all that matters.
What was that I said? One smells like vodka and conscription.
We've got Emily Slade from Radio Norfolk coming on soon. And I said to her that if Val Verde Broadcasting had a smell, it would be Lynx Africa and socks. and I stand by that. Oh, 2:30 now. 2:30 now. Speak That's up, weird. Viewers who are watching and are real.
Edward Hanna says, I like Superdry. That's fine. I like Superdry too now, as it turns out. I just thought I didn't. I do, because I went in there and bought a bunch of stuff. So we're all good. We're all good. I'm wearing
Stephen Allen, can we £5 super chat? Thank you so much, Stephen. Again, can we talk about Star Trek / Roddenberry's weird fascination with the space Irish? There is an episode, Duncan, of The Next Generation called Up the Long Ladder, which is about, essentially, to boil it down, they find a planet that was colonized by the Irish, and and they have to bring them on the Enterprise. Yeah. It's just like the most potently offensive, worst, most basic stereotypes. Like, well, Captain, you got a warp drive, have you? And they're all like sort of 18th century peasants for some reason, even though they're spacefaring. It's right.
Yeah.
It's the most. And
we arrived on a potato.
Yes, pretty much. And I watched it with Ivan, who is Irish, and didn't remember it, and was just watching the whole episode like, what the actual fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this? Watch, where are you at? Has he got pointing the phaser? Paul Winfield's pointing a phaser.
He is, yes.
Watch this. This is one of those horrible bits. So, Khan wants him to kill Kirk, right?
Yeah.
But he's mind controlled. So, to do what he wants to do, his only way out, he has to force himself to do it. And there's a really nasty scream as well over it. It's not nice. And Paul Winfield sells it really well. The kind of, the only option is to shoot himself. Of course, that can't happen to Chekhov because Chekhov's earworm's going to come out. There it goes. With some raspberry jam.
Let's zoom into the prosthetic ear. It was quite well handled.
It's quite nifty, yeah. And then it punches into the close-up. Kirk's a nice shot. Look at that.
That looks like it was probably it was almost a matte painting or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, there's some really, really nifty little kind of effects in this, and I can't remember the exact money, but they weren't given as much money this time out because the first one didn't do as well.
Right,
it didn't do very well,
but
enough to come back if isn't it?
I say that.
Yeah,
not always because we give them, very.
I think the thing to remember with this is that it's got like ILM and stuff. It's got like CGI stuff in it. Like Mark pointed out earlier. What it comes to, because I think what people think about with Star Trek, particularly movies, is like big space battles and stuff. This is really a series of rooms. It's quite deceptive, but like the main tension, like I say, it's a submarine combat, so it's the two ships' bridges, and then there's a few others like Kirk's apartment. There's the Genesis planet. So what it is, they've developed. Dr. Carol Marcus, who's on the satellite where they killed all the people, they've developed essentially a thing that if you put it on a barren planet, it creates life and makes it into kind of like a verdant, lovely planet. And Khan realizes that they tell you if you use it on a populated planet, it would just destroy everything on it and replace it with a new thing. And Khan realizes that and wants to take it as the ultimate weapon. So that's where he's at now.
Okay.
So there's a kind of like nuclear allegory and stuff in it.
Well, I was going to say there's a sort of Cold War thing to the whole kind of submarine.
That's what, like, the balance of terror is this amazing Cold War era kind of parable. It's a really wonderful bit of television. About a quarter of the motion picture's budget. So this is a quarter of the budget of the first movie.
Wow.
And this is what I think works so well about Wrath of Khan, because it's really, really, really character driven. Because here's another thing. So this is the famous scene where Shatner screams Khan and it's been turned into a million gifs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buried alive. They're talking to each other via radios and stuff. And it's this kind of, it's a strategic battle between the two people. They have different ideologies. They're at different points in life. Different things have happened to them. They have completely different hopes and dreams, essentially, but they're put at odds and they're in charge of, there are people under them that they have to try and preserve. And, Kirk's just losing young people because they're cadets on the Enterprise in this. He's losing them hand over fist.
Right.
Because, the stakes are really huge and there's no fucking 100 spaceship battle. There's no planet, colliding into another planet. There's nothing like that. It's really low key, and I think it's what works so well for it.
Sam Montgomery,
right? You go,
£10. He says, "Hey guys, first time I managed to catch you live since the relaunch. Hope you had a good New Year's and Christmas. I finally binged all of the classic Doctor Who in just 6 weeks. It cost me my sanity."
Good grief, that's quite a lot of watching there. Fucking hell. Good work, Sam.
Well
Blimey,
done,
Charlie.
That's something I've never really done. Just Doctor Who.
We'll save that for another time. We're doing Star Trek.
I mean,
it's so good. It's so good. And there's so many great performances in it and cameos, and it's so much fun. You miserable cunt. Sorry. You want to watch out, mate. They've had their budget fucking blown the fuck up. They're going to be casting all over the place.
Yeah, maybe.
They've had a deal cut with Disney. I'm not saying you're going to be the Doctor. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not going to be the Doctor.
There's going to be work. It's going to be work all over fucking Cardiff.
Right.
That's the only problem.
But I don't live there. But if you remember where. But yeah, no, I haven't done anything with the BBC for a long time, actually. I don't think.
Edward Hanna says, leave Duncan alone, Richard, and now I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember the last thing I did. Was probably EastEnders. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? It's not the
anyway.
Yeah,
Star Trek. So this is Kirk's old flame, Carol Marcus.
Oh, Carol Marcus, yeah, because she's
young. Oh, of course, she's in Peter Weller's her dad in the.
Yes, yeah.
And again, she's kind of British in the new one for no reason because time dilation or something.
Well, because what's her name? Can't do a fucking American accent.
Alice Eve.
And
the young guy running around with the curly hair, it turns out is Kirk's son, and he's just finding this information out now.
Right.
So Kirk has a son that he didn't know about. It's very important and emotional. Cry, Duncan. No,
who done it?
Yeah.
Who done it? What? Who's the mum? Her.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I just don't know how.
Sorry, I done a spunk in your fanny. Because they had a kind of thing years ago, and she just went away and never told him. They talk about it and everything. Like they weren't together.
Right.
You
can't. I'll just piss off for 9 months, pop out a kid. All will be, and I'll hide it from. It's very hard to.
No. They didn't. They haven't seen each other since they were in a relationship. She didn't come back to him. She just went.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Soz. He done a spunk in her fanny, then she went off. And this. Oh, blind.
And he never sees the kid.
He never sees.
She was his lab assistant.
Yeah, never sees the kid. Yeah, so that's what Alice Eve is doing in there, but none of the doing a sex or anything. And then she was just forgotten about, wasn't she, when they did the third one?
Yeah.
Forget that. I quite like when Peter Weller calls Chris Pine. Does he call him like a little shit, a little prick? You little prick. Is that it? You little shit? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
Great because Peter Weller's great.
He's great in that. I think they did a really good, like you said, they did a really good job of recasting all of them, and I think they work really well together.
Yeah, those casts are really, really good. I mean, and it's such big shoes to fill as well. I think.
Yeah.
Like with the exception of, I just don't know why fucking Benedict Cumberbatch is there. And I like him. It's just like I don't, or at least as fucking Khan. You know what I mean? Look, Duncan, they've built a screensaver inside the planet. It's quite a nice one, isn't it?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, what is that? A map?
It's made a matte painting. We've made a matte painting. No. Also, this is your son. Yeah, it must be a matte painting, I think, and it's got kind of. So look at all this. This stuff's lovely. Look at that, and there's kind of matte painting in there, and the line in the grass hides the joins. Right, it's great. It's got a real sense of scale.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
This is it. There's so many lovely things in it, and it kind of. So this caves where they've been practicing with the Genesis device to make life.
I was going to say, so this is is that what the planet used to be like?
No, so the planet is, you can only use it on an utterly barren planet. So they've been surveying to find a completely barren planet so they can use the Genesis device, because otherwise it's immoral, because it will kill whatever's on any given planet if you use it. So in this cave, they've been testing it, what it does. And it makes waterfalls and apples. Kirk's got an apple. So that, and then in Star Trek, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, when he's cheating on the test, he's eating an apple, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a reference to this scene.
Because
he doesn't believe in the no-win scenario. Because it's all taken from Wrath of Khan. From the fucking movie with Wrath of Khan. Which I should watch that again, actually, because it's a cool movie. As we've said, we've gone into bat for that movie quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I like it.
It's a cool movie. Someone says, UBQA? Sorry, I mangled your name. In the commentary, I think someone says they were really disappointed with the Genesis landscape stuff. That's a shame. Oh, it's lovely. It's
a hard thing to realize. I mean, now obviously you digitally do it, but it's a hard thing to sort of realize, isn't it? Visually.
Well, Dan Lyles did matte painting for our movie, and I've had people asking me how we did the crane shot.
Oh yeah.
Which speaks to, I had a couple of people go like, how did you get up that high? It's a fucking digital matte painting. The old ways work, except we did it via Photoshop. You know, I got Dan to Photoshop. I gave him essentially a thing with a square cut out with our shot in the middle, and then he expanded it. It's fucking amazing work. Incredible.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite things in the movie. Like, I think it really. Then I added a bunch of fake lights and stuff in After Effects. See, Kirk's got a new tunic, so the slate's wiped clean, right? Visual storytelling through costume.
Why is it wiped clean? Oh, because and that's a bit like the Genesis device, right? It does that?
Yeah, right. Isn't it clean slates and and it's a new beginning for, like, signifies he has a bit of a new beginning here, because he's found out that he in fact has a family that he didn't know about, and perhaps he is ready to grow up. Because Carol talks to him, like, the reason I didn't tell you is because you were off having adventures and you didn't want to grow up. So I took him, and so, it's no biggies. This is the choice I made. Storytelling,
I'd be a bit like, well, it would have been nice to know my son when he was growing up.
Yeah, well, this kind of, look, in space, it can get a bit Jeremy Kyle, all right? And it got a little bit Jeremy Kyle. We don't know who else is fucking who else has got secret babies, who's actually cousins, I found out today that in Iceland, there is a popular free app that is used to determine whether or not you're related to people. And it's very important on the dating scene, because the population in Iceland is so small, but there's a high chance that you're cousins with someone that you're dating. So people use the app to verify whether or not they're related.
Interesting.
It's got to be a real bummer. And also there's got to be people just kind of go like, yeah, fuck it. Ew. I mean, again, as I make reference to this a lot, but we are from the Fens, so who are we?
You speak for yourself.
Fuck off.
I'm not from the Fen.
Yeah, you are. I mean, kinda. Drag you down with me. You're the one who still lives there because you just want to marry your cousin, which you haven't.
I don't live in the Fens.
You live in the Fens. You're in East Anglia.
Yeah, well,
I'm middle class now. I work in the media and live in Hove. I'm a right ponce. I can't be inbred.
Far too intellectual.
I'm a sellout cunt, mate. I can't be inbred.
Can I have 1,000 quid now?
That's my universal basic income, baby. Look at all these just Mad Max kids hanging around, being smug. You're in so much trouble, mate.
He's got a big gnarly scar on his chest.
Yeah, he's got a big on his real chest.
Yeah. So what's happening now? Because I've no fucking idea what's going on.
So basically, Khan thought that he'd crippled the Enterprise and they were stuck there for days, but he was intercepting their Kirk and Spock's radio conversation, and Spock lied and sent a code to Kirk to say that we're going to be ready in 2 hours. And Khan thought they were going to be there for like 2 days or 2 weeks. So the Enterprise are making a break for it and escaping, and Khan in the Reliant is pursuing them. However, they're going to escape into the nebula, because in the nebula none of Khan's devices will work and they won't be able to see them, but they won't be able to see him either.
Right.
Submarine combat.
Right. Okay.
You see?
I
see? It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Yeah. You know.
It's one of the jiggle the cameras and make it look like.
Oh, someone got the, the classic thing. You move the camera in Star Trek, right, and everyone moves over. Someone did a video called "Turn Down for Spock," where they used warp stabilizer in Adobe Premiere, so it stabilizes it, and you just see the actors just like running around.
Brilliant.
It's fucking great.
Oh, I got
just
that.
A very clever little bit of stuff. My grandparents were married cousins, says John Smith. I think a lot of people's probably were, honestly, back in the day. Oh, I've just lost a light.
Oh,
might have had a bit of. I just fell over. I was just talking about John's grandparent cousins. There we go. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that about, mate. I wouldn't worry about
it. Well, yeah.
Ew.
Ew.
Ew. I love Ricardo Montalban anyway, like in anything.
Yeah.
Like I think he's just so good. And he's one of those people that always gave like 1,000,000% to everything. Like he's really fun. And in this, he's kind of like he's undone by hubris, basically. It's the classic kind of smug intellectual villain who's undone by his own hubris and his own arrogance, but also his desire for revenge. Moby Dick themes, right.
Yeah.
Literary illusions.
With sort of nihilistic kind of, doesn't care. Got to get his white whale obsessed. It seems like the hairdresser on their planet knew how to do mullets.
Yeah. Those insects could bite you a mullet if they don't go in your brain.
Bite you a mullet.
Bite you a mullet. It's just a fact. And Khan is, like I said, they've both got kind of a paternal role. It's really brought into it's become literal with Kirk, but they have this paternal role over their crews. And Khan shows repeatedly he does care for them, and he's lost so many of them, and that's what drives him. But he's also willing to kind of put them in risk for his own agenda. Yeah. Whereas Kirk is racked with guilt about the thing that's been going on in his own ship and the repeated tragedies that have happened and so on and so on. You see, we'll watch it one time.
Yes,
we'll watch it properly. So here we go. Submarine combat, right? They can't see each other. They're in the nebula. You see, Botany Bay City Rollers.
Wouldn't you just
call the Botany Bay?
Wouldn't you just sort of piss off somewhere else then? If you're trying to avoid him, just sort of go over there.
Oh no, they're trying to sort of. It's to give them a strategic advantage. They have to stop him because he's got the Genesis device.
Oh,
so they have to stop him, but they're too weak because they've been damaged so much. They can't beat him in a straight fight, so they have to take him into the nebula to.
Right.
This is a bit like audio description for the deaf.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So what? They stuck up behind him, but how did they know where he was if they couldn't see him?
I don't know. Space telescopes. Do you think?
Okay.
Come at me with your facts. I want to hear about that. It's explained. I don't remember the specifics. I thought I did quite a good job. Otherwise, it's basically accurate. You've got to believe me, innit? You've got to believe me, Duncan.
All right.
Do a believing.
I will.
Oh dear. Yeah, so these ships got the other ship that they stole is called the Reliant. it comes back in Star Trek TV shows a bunch because they had a bunch of models they could reuse. So generally speaking, like when a model turns up in Star Trek movies, get ready to see it again and again and again and again and again because it's a way to save money. Oh, that fucking one guy just dives into fire. It's horrible.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, it's grim, isn't it? I mean, because it shows real consequences to it all, like that. It's what I mean about the kind of ship-to-ship combat stuff. Like you see something fire, and then you see the people inside suffering for it.
Yeah.
Whereas quite often Star Trek does it as well, but space combat stuff just shows pew pew pew, poo poo poo, and you don't really get much of a. Star Trek's quite good. Star Wars, sorry, because you see people blowing up inside cockpits and stuff. And it's very nasty. It's not really.
Yeah. Scotty looks like a retired mechanic.
It's
which
kind
I
of
guess
what
he is.
Yeah, it's kind of what he is. A retired alcoholic mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's oh no.
What?
It's just everybody's dead. He's fucked right up. Oh yeah, that was like the stream breaking again. Don't worry, it's fine.
Because I mean, spoilers for a film that I'm assuming everyone's seen, but obviously something happens where Spock has to go into a reactor or something? Because that's what happens in Into Darkness. But
they just do it backwards. Yeah, Kirk, and then Spock goes Khan instead of Kirk going Khan.
Yeah,
you see, it's all very clever because remember the thing that you remember, well, that, but not that. Right?
Yeah, I know that was.
I've done a writing.
It's that the tens, isn't it? The 2010s. Like that just seems to be the thesis of every bloody film. It's just like thing you love, but not the thing you love. It's like stop doing that. Just fucking either make the thing I love or piss off.
Oh, piss off! What we talked about before, right? It's this is how they become the heroes you know, and it's like no. I want the heroes we know, please. See, what Batman did was that happened inside the film we watched. So, there's 45 minutes of him not being that. Then he very much was that. Yeah. When you get an end credit scene of them putting the suits on, it's just like, don't tickle my balls and slap my dick. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I know, that does fuck me off. It's kind of like they did it with I think they did it well. It works well with something like the Netflix Daredevil series. Like the first one, like he's never really wearing the costume to the end.
But then he very much is, right? Yeah. Like, and he's kind of and it's kind of more egregious than that because quite often, like it's like how they become heroes that they know, but then they're not in the movie till the end, even quite often. Yeah, or the thing, like it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, you mad cunt? For whatever thing has disappointed me, all the things that have disappointed me. So much analog interference in space. Now it'd be buffering. A little second in the middle, just go around. That little Apple pinwheel just going round and round and round. This is great. Look, the shot, the Enterprise comes up behind the Reliant. That's cool. Very tactile as well. So like Chekhov has the little handle that comes out. There's loads of inserts and stuff of tactile handles and things with emergency tape on them. Whereas the thing I said before is like old Star Trek. Everyone has like a tray of fruit pastels in front of them that they just sort of jab at. And it's just like these colored crystal things. In this, it's got a real grounding. There's, like I say, like safety tape on the floor and around handles and buttons and switches and doors and things that need keys. And it just has this it's way more kind of, I think it's the start of Star Trek being kind of properly militaristic in its kind of undercurrents.
Right, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because, I mean,
no.
It was it's because it's normally, I mean, sci-fi. It's sort of sci-fi utopia, right? Usually, like Star Trek stuff, but less sort of actiony and
And this is very actiony by comparison. Yeah. It's more. I think this is what gives it that kind of more mainstream appeal, is where it's a bit more kind of. Do you know what? These are real capers. I really love these films, and people always have very mixed opinions about them as they go on. I think it's generally people say that 2, 4, and 6 are the best ones, but like there are these great kind of capers, and it's just this crew and the people who play them, but the chemistry among them all gets exploited more and more as the movies go on, and it's really they're people you want to spend time with, and you want to see them have these adventures and these capers. Because like in Star Trek 3, they have to steal the Enterprise, so it becomes like a heist where they have to go in and do wacky hijinks to steal the Enterprise back and stuff.
Did I miss the bit where Spock died?
No.
Oh, right. Okay.
Good. Don't worry. It's fine.
I was going to say, was I really not paying that much attention?
I'll start openly weeping. Look, this is a little bit like the self-destruct thing from Aliens. A little bit. Alien, sorry. A little bit.
Oh, yeah, with all the
columns or something.
Yeah.
Because it looks like that metal thing's going to cut. Yeah, I don't think that is going to come out, but it looks like it would do. So I mean, it's all, oh no, it does. I'm sorry, it's all tactile. It's buttons and stuff like that, and mechanisms, and instead of just tappity 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 tap. Because Star Trek: The Next Generation is back to essentially iPads. You know what I mean?
Which is what it would be, really. I mean, it's kind of like cars have gone that way now, where it's like you don't even have stuff for turning the temperature up or down. It's all on a touch screen, which I don't like. But whereas that is, I like that. That's one of the best things in Alien, isn't it? When she sets the self-destructing, and it's like this ridiculously complicated mechanism, but it's like, well, of course it is.
She has to unset it, and it's just like, oh no.
No. Yeah, well, exactly, and because you've got to pay attention to this intricate process before it's about to blow up, and you don't know if an alien's going to jump out and kill you. It's like,
I think it's a good trick, that, because I always forget that. I always forget she has to. It's like a video game that makes you backtrack. I always forget that. It's like, oh god, it took so long the first time. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That I do every now and again. I get sort of, I want to watch Alien. It's a bit like Blade Runner. You've got to sort of be in the mood, because it's slow. And
yeah, you need to be in the right kind of mood. Look, Kirk's son just has like a sort of card he's slung around his shoulders like a tennis player. Look at
yeah. Hey, Dad, let's go play ball sometime.
Let's play ball. I'm your dad.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, I like Spock's one of my favorite fictional characters.
Really?
I love Spock so much. And they give this
why
justify yourself. They give this real heft. I think Spock's death has real heft to it, and they really lean into, like, because Spock being kind of essentially emotionless, he gives very little, but they still love each other. And he's so respectful, but he's always kind of at work. Like, he's always got to sort of present himself properly, and he still calls him Captain instead of Jim. He does call him Jim, but
what's wrong with the ship? Like, why has he got it?
So basically, the warp core thingamajig's misaligned, and going in there to realign it manually is fatal because the chamber's flooded with radiation.
Yeah.
So if someone was to go in there, it would kill him dead. But don't worry, Spock's got gloves.
What's he do?
He's misaligned. He's realigning the thingy.
No, but what did he do to what's his name?
Oh, he put his hand on his face and said, "Remember." What could that mean? What could that mean?
Fuck would I know? I've never seen this thing.
You don't know till the next film, Duncan. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I'll ask you again. What would that mean? I don't know, Richard, exactly.
In case you needed to search for Spock.
In case you needed to undo the decision that you made.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of Empire Strikes Back, it's very much Han Solo goes into the carbonite, because it's like Harrison Ford might not come back. Like, it's very much that. Because it's and it works. They get their get out, because they search for Spock.
I'll be honest, the Into Darkness set looked a bit better than
Of course it does. It's probably like fucking 100 times the budget, and 30 years later. 40 years later, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know, 30.
I was going to say, fucking hang on, how old are you?
Yeah, hold on a minute. I remember.
Are those new slacks? It looks like it just has a big bin of radiation in a room.
Yeah, it's this radiation bin. It's just a big dustbin full of radiation.
We really ought to put more thought into this.
This is going to keep happening if we just keep it in that bin,
Hey, Captain, we keep all the radiation in a bin.
See, your Scotty's so much better. It's not Canadian.
Hello there.
Okay. James Doohan is lovely, lovely. His performance is brilliant, but his accent's shit. Like, no one in Scotland sounds like that at all. Bless him. God love him. Simon Pegg has a Scottish wife and tried to do a kind of, but it's a bit ropey. But it sounds more authentic than James Doohan. But James Doohan does it with so much charisma, you just don't give a shit. Like, you don't care. It's such a lovely character. Okay, Harvey Two-Face.
It's like the prosthetics peeling off around his eye.
Look at the radiation bin, just for the.
What's that? I don't know what that is. The big
That's the Genesis device. That's a big bomb that's going to go
off. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So the Enterprise can't flee in time because the engine's broken, but Spock's sacrificing his life in order for the Enterprise to make a break for it and get warp speed.
Can you wear wear a radiation suit?
They don't have any, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, there's too much radiation. For fuck's sake.
Is Khan dead?
He's dead. Khan's dead. He done a Genesis device in space. Now he blowed up.
Oh, Ellen, you calm.
There's no need for that. There you go, Khan. He's there, but the film's not over. Hey, Rob just turned up. Got no notifications, damn you, YouTube. Fucking typical, man. Sorry about that. So fucking typical.
It's been weird tonight, isn't it? The numbers have been kind of jumpy all over the place. What are we at now? 233.
Back at 79.
This is 233.
Mine. Where are you in the
278 now?
Interesting. I've got so OBS says 79, YouTube says 279. Okay then. Oh no, back at 279. Okay. Legit. Fine. This is a fucking algorithm or something.
Weird.
Down here. All the radiation suits were in the wash, says Wing Kong Exchange. See? He knows.
So, I mean, the problem I've got at the moment, I'm sure this is all really great stuff, but this film does seem to be a lot about people sitting around talking, which is fine.
Yeah, it's great because it's all about the emotional shit. Like,
yeah. And that sounds like I'm doing it down. What I mean is that as a mute experience, it's not quite as satisfying.
Yeah, it's not like a visual. It's not a visual. Well, like I said, a lot of the really interesting visual stuff is in the kind of the bridge and everything, where they're doing things with lighting and costume and makeup, and it's not spectacle particularly, but it's visual storytelling.
Yeah.
This is great. This scene's fucking amazing. Like the people who just say Shatner can't act, like this is incredible. And when he does the eulogy at the end for Spock, like holy fuck. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I did a sad. I did a cry. Spock is dead. That's what he says. That's how it goes. I've memorized
Tunic's open again.
Tunic's open. And then it's closed slightly there, continuity error.
Oh yeah.
Spock, your bum fell off.
Is Perspex really radiation proof?
It's transparent aluminum, which you'd know if you watch Star Trek 4.
Would I know?
Yes, you would. It's one of the best scenes.
Oh, right.
You bag of shite. You great big bag of shite. He's walking like he's done a radiation. He's at all the radiation at the radiation bin. You silly blind bastard.
He's blind now.
Well, he's just so full of radiation, Duncan. You know what it's like when you eat out the radiation dust.
When you've eaten too much radiation at Christmas.
At Christmas. You just want to lie on the sofa and fall asleep once you've eaten all that radiation.
When Grandma passes around the radiation bin.
You know what it's like. You take one fistful, you think you've had enough, but then she can't finish hers, so you have that as well. And then you put some radiation in your coffee at the end.
Keeps plying you with plutonium.
And then out come the uranium mint thins afterwards.
Your tiny minty uranium rods.
Steve Allen, £2, says William Shatner, Adam West. They are quite similarly, I'd say similarly mocked performances, I think.
Yeah.
It's a kind of strange cadence thing, like, you know.
Quickly, Robin.
So the whole thing, Duncan, has been that Kirk has never had to face death because he doesn't believe in the no-win scenario, even so far as that he cheated on the test, and he's finally been confronted with death, and he's finally been confronted with the no-win scenario, and it's at the cost of his best friend. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I know like they undo Spock's death, but it takes 2 films to get Spock properly back. This is the beginning of a kind of trilogy in the middle of the Star Trek films. So 2, 3, and 4 are like a trilogy of films that follow on continuously from each other and tell an overarching story.
Right.
So there you go. So we'll be watching that tomorrow, also live. And then on Saturday, we'll watch Star Trek 4.
Right.
Right. How they're meant to be watched. On a television in your garden office without sound whilst a man talks at you.
Yeah.
It's what Nicholas Meyer would have wanted. Incessant talking. Adam West seems nicer than Shatner, says Andrew K. Says John Smith. I've reputedly. Bobbing for radiation, says Andrew K. Brian Shields, amazing scene. It's an amazing scene. This the Kirk eulogy here is absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
Shatner played Two-Face in the Adam West animated movie. There you go.
What?
So they did animated Adam West Batman films in the style of Batman 66 with Burt Ward as well. Yeah, they look really cool. There's two of them. One's only one was about Two-Face because they never did Two-Face in the show.
Yeah, I
can't remember what the other one's about, but they look really fun. They look really cool.
Oh wow, that sounds really awesome.
Yeah. There's like substitutes for most of the people who are no longer with us, like because a lot of that cast. But I think they've got like oh blimey, Eartha Kitt. I can't remember which one. Bollocks. Anyway, but it's really fun.
Does he sound like ancient though?
Oh no, not like that. It's a bit like you got this weird thing now. If you listen to James Earl Jones in Rogue One, it's still cool, but it's like he sounds old. And then in Obi-Wan, it's a robot, ironically doing it, not him. So he sounds really young again.
Sean Connery, wasn't it? Came back and did the voiceover for the From Russia with Love game in like 2002.
Yes. We should let's play that sometime.
Young Sean Connery going around going, "Where's my jetpack? Who's seen my slippers?" It's like, right, okay.
It's a bit like the Nostromo add-on for Alien Isolation, where they got all most of the cast back. It's like Veronica Cartwright and stuff, and Tom Skerritt, and they all sound old as shit.
Veronica Cartwright sounded old when she did the clearly.
Not often we get a lady dirty shitter, but I definitely nominate her for that.
That's the bug eyes, you see. She's been straining. She's been straining, man. You got them bug eyes, boy.
Getting into like Victorian medicine. The telltale bug eyes.
It's a Bahamian thing. It's Bahamian medicine. So many people know about it. Yeah, it's true.
All right, it's just
man. She got them bug eyes, man. She got them bug eyes, and she been straining on a shit. That's what's going on. It's a true story.
True story. True facts that are real.
Yeah, there's an island in the Bahamas that's just dedicated to that. When you get the bug eyes,
like a leper colony.
Yeah, when you get the bug eyes, they ship you off to the
right.
Yeah,
right.
True.
So you see, he's lost his best friend, but he's gained a son, and he's going to make an effort. And
and tuck your t-shirt in. Do your trousers.
Take that jumper off your shoulders. Christopher Lloyd is the bad guy in the next one.
Oh, nice.
Christopher Lloyd plays like Klingon captain. Yeah, it's cool. Like people have mixed views about it, but I think he's fucking great in it. He's like the captain of the Klingon ship that's looking for Genesis. And I think
speaking of bug eyes,
him and Steve Buscemi. No, they're not Steve Buscemi. They would be great though.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's. Someone said in the chat. I'm sorry, I've missed it. Oh yeah, the Wincom Exchange. The fact it takes the entire film plus the death of Kirk's son and destruction of the Enterprise, spoilers, Duncan, makes the return of Spock earned. So yeah, it's not just like they undo it and he comes back in the next movie. Because that's what really annoying about Star Trek Into Darkness. Kirk dies and they just invent immortality and bring him back in the same film. And it's
that was bullshit.
Because like they get Spock back through the course of Search for Spock, but then he's kind of lost, his mind isn't there. And then he's got his mind back at the beginning of Star Trek 4 and he's starting to come back to us in Star Trek 4. So it takes really all of Star Trek 4 to get Spock back properly.
Right.
2 fucking movies, not the end of the one you just made where fucking...
Oh, that's that one of those... Again, that's so sort of treating your audience like dullards. It's like they can't handle that. It's like, we're not infants, mate. Like, he could die and we'd be all right with it. And if you made the next one about them finding him or whatever, that's fine.
The Cirque for Kirk. It'd be cool.
The Cirque for Kirk.
The Cirque for Kirk.
What is it? Like it was some Russian circus.
Yes, like, the Cirque was the only way to do that.
Cirque de Kirk.
Cirque de Kirk. And now,
entering the ring, it's something.
It's a bit like them calling Joker 2 Folie à Dieu. It's like, Star Trek 2 Cirque de Kirk.
Well, that'd be Star Trek 3.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's going to stand around looking out the window, going,
optimistically.
New life, Duncan. New life.
Oh, is that the planet that's now?
That's the Genesis planet. New life. I keep saying new life at you. New life.
No life.
No life.
So that to me anyway seems like a good sort of trekkage to have this device that creates utopia, but it kills whatever was there, because that's almost eugenic argument,
classic. And Khan came from what was called the eugenics wars. So he was created genetically and stuff. And and it's a classic. What Star Trek should have is a good moral dilemma at its heart. It should have a you should have a moral quandary. So it hasn't lost that. It's quite swashbuckling and capery, but it hasn't lost that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You know,
I do know.
You know,
because what's the one? Is it Into Darkness or the third one that starts with them on a planet and they can't make contact with it, so they're trying to do it?
Into Darkness.
It is,
it's called the Prime Directive. So you're not supposed to make contact with planets that don't have warp technology yet.
Right.
So those kind of white aliens, right? And it's all red and blue on the planet, and they run through the grass and they get in the ship and it.
Yeah, it's underwater or something.
That's a cool sequence as well. It's a good.
Yeah, because he's in that volcano or something.
Yes, they are freezing a volcano because it's going to kill them all.
That's right.
It's going to kill them. So it opens on them kind of breaking the Prime Directive, because the Prime Directive states that you should just let that happen.
Right.
But the classic Star Trek is like the point in this Prime Directive is like every captain breaks it every week because it's there to create moral quandaries for them to overcome.
Right.
There's an episode of Star Trek, Duncan, called The Measure of a Man. And you know Commander Data?
Yes.
Robot boy.
Yeah.
Starfleet decided that he's
Spiner.
Brent Spiner. Star Trek have decided on some level in their kind of technology division that he's not a person or a being, he's property, and they own him, and they should have the right to take him to pieces and make more. That would effectively kill him, and he gets no say in it. And the entire episode, someone from the JAG gets involved, and it's a courtroom drama for 45 minutes whilst Picard has to make the case for defense, and they force Riker, Data's friend, to be the prosecutor, and they're sat in a room debating what constitutes a living being. It's amazing. It's amazing. Nothing blows up. No one gets kidnapped. It's just this really brilliant kind of meditation on artificial intelligence and how you classify something as life. It's really, really good. It's one of the best episodes they did. There's another one called The Drumhead, which is about a kind of kangaroo court, similar thing.
Okay.
Really, that's what's so good about it. Is why people just think it's kind of like, I don't want to watch it. It's about blorgons with penises on their heads, and it is that. And sometimes it's weirdly racist or xenophobic. But when it's doing that kind of stuff, like the properly moral, interesting stuff, and the stuff in The Measure of a Man, where Riker like Data is his friend, and he's like I don't want to do this because you're my friend. I don't want to be forced to prove that. And he says to him, "Well, it's your duty. It's our duty. I don't hold it against you. Do your job." Prosecute me. That's wonderful. It's good. Yawning at the thought.
I'm not. I'm just so tired. I'm so sorry. I'm not. No, it's good, man. It looks. I want to watch this. Like, it's what annoys me. I feel like I haven't really watched it. I've just sort of sat.
That was always it, because there's no way you would have found time to watch it this week.
No, unfortunately not. No, I can't even believe this week's nearly over. It barely began for me, and it's like fucking hell. It's Friday tomorrow. Yeah, no, it's I do want to watch it. Honestly, it's just weird. I guess you get to a stage in life where it's kind of like, it's not fucking time anymore. I just don't sit around watching films. My wife and I might watch one on like a Friday night, or Saturday night or something, but basically that's it. And then it has to be something we both want to watch, which is very little. Although I watch, do you know what I put on out of choice? You might be surprised to know. The other, what was it, on Saturday? It might have been on Saturday night. I put on While You Were Sleeping, which I haven't watched for ages. Sandra Bullock.
I saw that in the cinema.
I really like that film. I know it's a rom-com, but I really like it.
It's one of these things. It's like, that's quite a creepy premise. Like, really,
I know, but all right.
If I was in a coma and someone had told my fucking mum that I was marrying her, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah,
but
I
I
know.
probably would if it was Sandra Bullock. In fact,
That's what I was going to say.
Of man.
It is the premise is ridiculous. Like she can't find anyone, and she's like just this. She works in.
She's a hideous hag. Mid 90s Sandra Bullock. You vile troll of the sewer. No man will ever love you.
Oh right. Well, okay. You pick it apart all you want, but I quite like it. So there's that. I know what you mean. Well, because
they do take it came out.
They take the sort of thing up that she doesn't tell them that she's engaged to them. Like the nurse over here.
Yeah, it's kind of high fast.
Then,
it all gets
the nurse overhears it, and then before she can tell them. So yeah, I like it. Anyway,
you stupid coma son's my husband, you fat bitch. That's what she says to his mum. That's
Peter
exactly.
Gallagher.
Peter Gallagher.
Good old Peter Gallagher. What a gig to get. Lie in a bed. Well, Sandra Bullock tells you how much she loves you. Something like that.
Just like what was what were you on Casualty? Weren't you in a bed?
I did do it. But yeah. That was.
But you had dialogue and stuff though, right? Or,
not Casualty. Well, it was Holby. Yeah, I did. Holby. But that was so. I did two things on Holby. I had one where I was just a drunk who threw up everywhere. And burped in someone's face. See,
you love your burp.
The old burp.
That's why you get your burp in there.
And then, and then one of them I was someone's husband who'd been in a motorbike accident, and I was in a coma for most of it, and I had to lie there while Hugh Quashie stared down at me for ages. And I spent days doing that, and they stood around me, just looking at, and I had to keep sort of holding my breath, pretending to be dead, and then it'd be cut, and then wake up and start chatting. But it was fun. We had a good chat. Everyone around the table. I was just lying there having a chat with all these people.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if that's a pain in the arse or not. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of like, but you know, not being able to move for ages sounds not nice.
Oh, you can move. You can, they don't like you too much in between takes, but I mean, you can. But you're lying down. It's all right.
Get up and have a shite. I got a hole in the table.
I asked Hugh Quashie why he wasn't in Attack of the Clones, and he said, because I think he got Phantom Menace because the guy who was supposed to do it had to do a play or something, so he said that he was a last minute addition to that, and then when it came time to do the second one, he didn't want to do it, so he told him fuck off.
Fair enough.
It was I didn't like the script, so I
didn't hurt him any.
Made my excuses and buggered off. No,
they just have another guy come in where he blatantly would have been. Anyway,
and
go, oh, she's been blown up. Oh no, okay, bye. Like that's.
He's great though. I wish he'd done more. I mean, he still can, obviously, but he should do more movies and stuff because he's a proper movie star. He's got that charisma.
He's got movie star quality.
Yeah, definitely.
He was in Doctor Who, Duncan. 2 episodes, 2-parter it was. Great. He played an American in the past, and he went, "Look at me, I'm American." He said,
Hi, "I'm American."
I love those. You get it in a lot of British video games as well. It's like, "Hello there, I'm from America. Come here and get some petrol for your car." And it's like, please sit down and breathe because I think you're going to die. Nothing about this sounds good.
How? Because I remember when I did ADR for Erica, and we did it at Shepperton in their recording studio. And I was dicking around doing voices because I do. And the guy was like, "You should come and do." He'd just done Red Dead Redemption or something, and he said, "You should come and that they want people like you." He said they really needed people like you to do all the different voices and stuff. And I was like, "Right, but you're the end user. I'm the guy with the thing you want. How the fuck? But then how do I make it work?" This is what annoys me. It's like, no, you've got layers of people to get through before you'll ever get anywhere near a thing like that, who all have their preferred fucking agents and direct casting director. And you just think, oh, bollocks. You know what I mean? It's just, it is so deeply frustrating, all that.
Yeah, old Geary does the video game stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
My friend Kate does a lot of voiceover. She does audiobooks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that I don't really want to do that. I want to go in a booth and go make stupid voices, because the fun thing about doing something like that is they probably have they need tons of voices for characters in the market or whatever. So you here's a character design.
Yeah.
I can go, right, I'm going to put a voice to that, and make up some stupid
rhubarb pots and pans.
Yeah,
basically,
basically, yeah.
Rockstar games, yeah.
Dialogue. It'd be wicked. It'd be fun. But...
Yeah, they got all those open world games, and you also have to do every single get out of here! All that kind of combat stuff.
You shot my dick clean off,
right at the root. Yeah, all that, man. I think that So I've become mildly obsessed with the Sniper Elite series. You were a Sniper Elite. Talking of shooting dicks off, it's made by Rebellion, British studio, who own they happen to own 2000 AD, but they've made a bunch of games. So the Sniper Elite games their big USP is that when you snipe someone successfully, it does a bullet cam thing, and then it does an X-ray, and you see like, and you can shoot people's nuts off, and it shows you their nuts exploding and stuff.
Fucking hell.
Okay. Yeah. And shoot them in the lungs and the spleen and whatever. It's wild. I'm playing those over Christmas. I've become mildly obsessed with them. I've been playing the spin-offs as well. And they're not open world games, but they're big levels. And what you get, and the trick they do to make you feel bad, because you can go through non-lethally as of Sniper Elite 5 and use like stun bullets and stuff. The soldiers walk up to each other and have kind of conversations about their families and what they're going to do when they go home. Yeah. But like some of the maps are huge and there's like 20 different conversations going on. So someone's had to record all of that in German in this instance. Wow, someone's had to record all of it. And you might not, as the player on the first go through, you're probably not going to hear most of those conversations. Yeah. And then that's on top of all of he's over there, getting cover, grenade out, da-da-da, ooh, arg, arg, all of that shit. You know.
Oh, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, but I would love that. I think I'd have great fun with that. Be a laugh, because it's not such high stakes, is it? You can sort of have fun with it and just sort of hide little things in it. You know that goes on, like hide stupid little conversations. I'd be chucking little Val Verde Easter eggs in there. Find the guy in the market with the wonky eye who's stood there going like, "Shut the rug speculation."
Yeah, hashtag.
It's a dirty shitter over there.
Those open world style games. Look, my point with Sniper Elite was they're not even open world games. They're big maps, and being a British game, they're not hugely huge budget.
Yeah,
I mean, I know like for GTA, Rockstar originates in Scotland. I know it's an international effort now, but those games are huge. And then they bolt on all that DLC and all the online shit. Like GTA 5 has been running as an online service for a decade, basically.
Exactly, it's been 10 years, and that's the last video game I bought.
Right. Well, most people have bought it several times because there's been so many changes in platforms. So you're lucky.
They've bought it like for every single one. It's been like the biggest. It's still the best-selling game, isn't it? I think.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if you say so. It wouldn't surprise me because they re-released it on every fucking generation. My buddy Bob Tilford, Dr. Bob Tilford, he works in player experience at Rockstar. He just moved to Edinburgh.
Oh, wow.
Annoyingly, because Bob's great. Bob and I, just as I moved to Brighton, he was just moving up to Edinburgh around that time. So I've known Bob going back 10, 15 years. And yeah, he's working for Edinburgh. And I was just like, working for Rockstar, and I said to him, like, working for Rockstar, as soon as you tell people you work for Rockstar, do they all say, when's GTA 6 coming out? And he's like, yes. I get asked constantly, and the answer is, I'm not allowed to tell you because it's the biggest video game in the world. But, oh yeah, it's totally coming out. Here's all the facts. Like, I've got it on a data stick. Like, get the fuck out of here.
That's one of those. My dad saw Back to the Future 4. You've just got, I mean, I would love to do a game like that. I mean, I presume they're working on it now, but
I believe they've kind of said they're making it. I'm not sure if that's official. I started leaking from my nose. Sorry. It's all the cocaine I've been doing back here.
Right.
Me streaming cocaine.
Yeah, that's just one of those things, isn't it? You just did know that a GTA game, but they've gotten further and further apart. Like GTA? Obviously, GTA 2 were quite close together, but they were just basically reskins, and then the London one.
They've had no reason to release a new game because they're just making money hand over fist. Like, GTA Online is vastly successful.
GTA 3 was the big one that came out in 2001 or 2, I think.
Which one? GTA 3?
Yeah,
2000, I think.
2000, and then GTA Vice City was the next one, wasn't it? And that was like 2000.
Like 2004? Oh no, 2002. Okay,
I think it was 2002 because I think I had it when I went to uni, which would have been 2002, and then
San Andreas 2005 because I queued up in Southampton to get it at midnight.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, but then it was what GTA 4 was 2008 or 9? 8.
Something like that. Yeah. 2012 was GTA 5, I think. in
No,
its
2013, because I remember when it.
2013.
Yeah, 2013.
Okay.
So yeah, and now it's been 10 years, but they just keep bringing out all those different bloody DLC things. But anyway.
Yeah, there's the online thing and they sell microtransactions and stuff. So why would you? It's a bit like Valve and Half-Life games. It's like, why would they make it when they've got other shit going on that they make tons of money out of? Like, why would you? Which is a real shame because they got a hugely successful business. Why fix it? Why change it? But also, people want the story to continue or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, in GTA, the story is the bad men done a crime. So
it's quite
in a fun way, in a fun, exciting way.
Yeah.
I love that. In GTA 5, it had that heist thing, and you could jump between the three characters as the heist was going on.
Yeah. No, I love it.
You got one guy sniping, one guy they're really fucking cool. Like GTA 5 was a cool game. Like
it always felt like they just done so much work on it to the point where you just couldn't break it. You couldn't break that game. You could just spend all the time in it you wanted, doing whatever you wanted, and someone would have thought of whatever it was you were going to do. But
yeah. It's so the Arkham games are very polished. You couldn't see the joins. It was very hard to find why you couldn't leave the map. You can't. Yeah. It's hard to find why. When WB Montreal did the spin-off on Origins, wasn't quite as polished, and I just remember finding a wall with barbed wire on it, and I was like, I see you. I see you.
True.
But yeah, there you go. So Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, you still haven't seen, basically.
No, not really.
Spoilers for.
I've seen it. I just haven't heard it, which is a problem. But it looked great, and I'm super excited to watch it. Whenever that is, whenever I get a chance to watch it.
The music is wunderbar.
Okay. Cool.
Edward Hanna in the chat. Anyone else think that Duncan looks like Philip Graves from Modern Warfare 2? I'm looking up Philip Graves as we speak.
Okay.
You kind of do look like Philip Graves in Modern Warfare 2. More accurately, I'd say Philip Graves looks like you. That's the way round I want it. Put in Philip Graves. Nobody ever not massively. Nobody ever feels like they look like the person everyone says they look like. But he's definitely got your hair to some degree.
Philip Graves.
Philip Graves. Go to image search.
Actually went to school with someone called Philip Graves.
Now he
did not look like me. Oh, okay. Yeah. Same sort of vibe, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think he looks like Duncan Casey. Yeah, rather than.
I could do a character in a game like that. That'd be fun. Is he played by someone? I guess he is. They had a.
They like to do that at Call of Duty. They have actors in, including Kevin Spacey that one time. Because they were cut. I don't know if they still are or what they did, but they're making that James Bond game, aren't they? And they were going to cast someone as James Bond. Oh, were they really? Because that's made by IO Interactive that make the Hitman games.
That's right, yes.
And they've only ever really made Hitman games apart from when they did Kane and Lynch, which they did twice, and it's back to Hitman games.
Right.
I think they're a great choice for a Bond game based on how the Hitman games work. Two things
that'll be like, Bond games are very difficult to. I mean, like GoldenEye was great, but it was sort of just a good shooter in.
And 25 years ago as well. Things have changed. I mean, having played the modern Hitman games, so I've been a fan of the Hitman games since the beginning, in 1999. The Hitman games are very, very lush, very expensive, lush, well-appointed games that are really quite story dense. And there's tons and tons of world in them. I'm like, oh, James Bond in a kind of rich, story-driven situation. It would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I
assume he won't be pushing anyone into a wood chipper, which is what you do in Hitman, basically.
Yeah, but he will push them into a canal.
Right. A studio canal.
No, as in... Well, tramps. Only
tramps. Tramps into a canal. This is corner shop mode. Two things that have been asked repeatedly. I'm going to start with your one. Captain Meat's Adventures asked, what I think Omar did as well. Lads, thoughts on the sad news that Ken Bruce has left Radio 2?
Oh, I didn't know he has he?
Yeah, I think he's gone off to another station. He's gone off like a smaller station or something, but I don't think he's retired. But Ken Bruce has left Radio 2.
Oh, that's a shame.
There he is.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, well, to me, like, who else is the voice of Radio 2? There's no one else, is there? I mean, obviously,
not in this day and age. No, not in this day and age. I wouldn't say
Claudia Winkleman or something. She seems to be whoever that's what you replace.
They love to kind of airdrop her in, don't they?
So Film 2000 or whatever, and she's just like, "Hi, films or whatever." It was just like, you're not.
Well, they brought in a film critic to sit next to her and explain all the films to her, and it's like I just felt bad for Claudia Winkleman. It was just
no, it's nothing against her, but it's kind of like you're not an human that you just plug into whatever. It's the same. They did the same thing with Jonathan Ross. Like Jonathan Ross was not qualified to talk about.
No, but Jonathan Ross is a big film geek.
Right.
You know, he does know his onions. Like he's written about film a lot. So like not to Barry Norman's caliber. Like his wife producer and stuff. James Atkinson asked elsewhere, do you think there will be another Kelvin Star Trek film? I don't know, because I think they couldn't make Star Trek on TV for the longest time, and now they've got like 4 different TV shows, and it's like, and then I think CBS and Paramount have separated, so Paramount would be making that, and I know Tarantino allegedly was going to do one, which was never going to happen.
Oh, like his Bond film that he was going to make.
Exactly, they just keep digging that up. I know Chris Pine, because the idea was to bring back Chris Hemsworth. Now he's huge.
Yeah,
they were going to have Chris Hemsworth come out of a time bubble or whatever, and I think that was their gambit to sort of get bums on seats. But then I think Chris Pine has officially walked away from it. But all that means is that he wasn't under contract. He's left negotiations. It doesn't mean he's not going to do it ever. It just means he's not at the table anymore. Yeah. And that's what you do, isn't it? You release that to the press, and then you have to fucking jockey around. So that always felt like game playing to me. But it does very much put him in a position where, you know, from a legal standpoint, he doesn't have to do one, and from a legal standpoint, they don't have to hire him. But can you do the Calvin timeline without the Calvin crew? Because that was the whole point of that.
Well, the whole point was to say, wasn't it? Was to hand off continuity to a new, to the same.
Very nicely, as I appreciate at the time, because there was a lot of talk at the time that they were just going to do a complete reboot. And the problem with the complete reboot is it just assumes, it's not true because none of it's real, but it assumes the rest of the stuff doesn't exist. That used to be the way it was done.
Yeah.
And they had their cake and ate it, I think, in a really nice way.
Well, if you can do it with anything, you can do it with Star Trek, right? And I think, and like you say, I think they did it well for being respectful and keeping everything kind of, as it should be in the first one, whilst modernizing it and making it, I really liked it. But I think, it seems like the sort of, again, this is the thing, the Star Trek originally was made up of, correct me if I'm wrong, but fairly unknown actors, and because they came off a TV show that was made.
They'd all done Bonanza or whatever. They were
known for Star Trek, so it's kind of like, then when you retool it with very famous people, you're going to struggle to get all those people. This is the problem I've had with James Bond. It's like, stop casting. I mean, I love Ralph Fiennes, and it's wonderful that you got them. But how are you going to make a film every couple of years?
Yeah, it's not sustainable, is it?
No, you've not only got the salaries, but you've also got the schedules of very in-demand people to marshal. And it's like, at what point do you recognize that the brand is stronger than the cast? I have no problem with, and again, I don't say this to put down the people who are in the Calvin timeline, because they're brilliant and they're brilliantly cast and they work really well together, but they're too big. You're not going to get those people in the same room together in a timely fashion.
So I saw a graphic of like everything Zoe Saldana's done, and it's like, she must be one of the most bankable actors on the fucking planet. She's in Avatar, she's in Star Trek, she's in fucking Marvel. I think there's another one. It's just like, she
hasn't done much in recent times, but I guess she's been working on a million Avatar films.
I'm in the two biggest film franchises ever. Avatar and Marvel.
Right, and she was brilliant as Uhura, wasn't she? Uhura?
So good.
Oh, she's fucking amazing.
I really liked her.
She's brilliant though. I mean, she's have you seen The Losers? I love The Losers.
Yeah, I've seen The Losers. Yeah, really, it's based on an Andy Diggle comic. That's a DC comic. So.
Yeah, she's great.
Champagne 78 points out, of course, that Anton Yelchin's death is a factor as well. Bless him. Really sad.
That's true. That's a
very sad, pointless death, and he's a tremendous actor, man. Like Green Room, fuck me, he's phenomenal in that movie. Like. That kid he's so good. He just died pointlessly. Something I do want to talk about, someone's brought up, is the Last of Us TV show, which I don't know if
I'm aware of. We have, what's it on Prime? No, on Now.
Now TV.
about to cancel it, but yeah, I do have Now TV.
Oh, okay. I used my brother's. I rag on video game adaptations a lot. The Last of Us is a game that I played when I broke my legs. I was on morphine, but I played it all the way through, and then I restarted and played it again because no game because my brother gave me a PS3 and some games. No other game in that pile was as good as The Last of Us, so I played it again. Fuck me, it's been phenomenal. The first 2 episodes of The Last of Us are phenomenal, and this is. I always say I'm glad to be wrong. Please let me be wrong. Like I don't want to be miserable. It's fucking amazing, and it's by the showrunner of Chernobyl. Firstly,
okay,
which is the only reason I watched it. It's like I wasn't bothered at all, and then it's on the showrunner of Chernobyl. I was like, yeah, okay, watched it. It's been fucking. The first episode has been fucking incredible, and it's like they've changed things around because adaptation, and they keep doing these kind of like procedural, real world epidemiology things. So like the first episode opens with a character played by John Hannah on like a 1960s talk show talking about what if fungi spread to humans. And he's a character that then, therefore, the rest of the thing takes place in 2023 and 2003. So that character, therefore, will never appear again. We don't think, at least not concurrently to the characters. But it's this great dour kind of world building thing. And I just thought it was fucking phenomenal. It was so good. And I know what's going to happen.
It's Last of Us is a zombie thing, is that right?
It is, yeah, and it's one of those things. Well, I say it isn't, but it is. It's about how like those fungus that kind of mind controls spiders and stuff like that in real life. Invasive fungus that spreads to humans. So the zombies are kind of like these. They've got fungal growths on them and stuff. It's really gacky, and like they sort of mold into colonies and walls and stuff like that. And it's all. Like over time, they just become absorbed into walls, and there's like a human skull sticking out of a bunch of mold, which they've done in the show, and that was in the games. And the games just had this really great story about a kind of surrogate father and daughter.
Because famously, it had the trailer that went backwards, right? Is that
no, that was Dead Islands.
Oh, sorry,
Dead Islands, yeah. Okay. Which turned out to be a bit wank.
Oh, right.
But
so
yeah, it's cool. I really, man, like I thought it was phenomenal. There's a bit in the first episode of The Last of Us where I gasped at one of the things that happened. I gasped, and it was like, oh, I'm not used to feeling things. It's dead inside, like, you know what I mean? I was just like, I had my head in my hands, just like, oh my fucking god.
I might be able to convince the old ball and chain to watch it. Yeah, so I watched. It's good. I watched the first season of Slow Horses. Did I mention that? I can't remember.
You did.
Yeah. That was
what was it you said? It opens with Gary Oldman farting himself awake.
Yes. Yeah, you introduce his character farting himself awake on a couch.
You'll be glad to know that I've thought about that a lot this week.
Well, check it out. Oh no, it's on Apple TV Plus.
It's on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah.
Yes.
But it's funny. You should watch it.
Well, you've sold me on that opening already.
No, I'll have to check out Last of Us because I do, and I like what's his name, even though he's in fucking everything now.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, but
he's great in it as well. He's great in it, and the girl, I'm told, because it's like a surrogate father-daughter situation. The girl, I'm told, is from Game of Thrones. Ivan said. Ivan told me. She's phenomenal. The pair of them together have got really great chemistry. There's some quite cute things from their social media where those two are hanging out and having laughs, and you can see they've got real chemistry.
Nice.
And he's kind of, the way the Last of Us story begins is he's quite reluctant to take her on, and that's been played out really well. And I'm fucking stunned.
Well, there you go. Could be the one thing that. I mean, I've always said that the thing is, I suppose, really, you've got no excuse when it's a zombie. Most things. Most video game adaptations tend not to work because the video games themselves are adaptations of tropes of a genre writ large, and they don't really, when you put them back together into a sort of narrative filmic structure, they don't work because there's not much there to hang your hat on. And it's like, but when it's a zombie thing, it's like, well, that's a backdrop. That zombies are just a backdrop. Anything can happen in a zombie film because it's not about. Like, we know what zombies are. We know what the rules are of zombies. You can change it to be funguses or whatever. Basically, we know that that's what it is. And so it's really just about the personal stories that play out,
The Last of Us is one of the games that had just a phenomenal story. It's one of the best stories in a game. What's tricky is balancing story and action, because either you have something purely story-driven like Monkey Island, right? And it's like, well, that would make a great film because it's just story, it's not just story, but there's less kind of running around picking stuff up. Whereas The Last of Us very much has a survival horror kind of third person shooter stuff, but it's so heavy on the story. And I remember really caring about those characters, and I know the point was that I was in charge of their destiny in a way. Not really, because the game's very linear, and it's still a circle I'm trying to square. Because, like I said, I've been very vocal about how these are a bad idea for a really long time, and I'm as stunned as anybody else. I really carried me. It really swept me off. I put it on. I was just like, holy fuck! And knowing that it was the Chernobyl guy as well, and there is a flavor of that in it. Definitely, the kind of more procedural elements of it. It's really got a flavor of that in it.
Chernobyl's brilliant
for sure. Yeah, Chernobyl's so fucking. I'm going to watch that again. Simon hasn't seen it, so I was like, "Dude, do you want to watch Chernobyl?"
Oh, I guess, but yeah, I started watching it.
Do you want to be sad? Is what Chernobyl.
I started watching it again actually, but I haven't finished it. But yeah, it's so good, so good.
Yeah, so good.
Thank you, Dave Huckridge. Sorry.
Should we end? Should we wrap
probably up? Because I'm very low energy.
You're very tired.
I'm very tired and I have to go to bed.
Well, thank you all for coming, including the 140 fake people or 200 fake people or whatever, the robots that came. We have coming up a commentary to Star Wars 1, also known as Star Wars A New Hope, the first Star Wars. That's been on Patreon now for getting on for a week, and that will be coming out soon, I think next week, or are we still deciding?
Let's do next. Let's go for next Thursday. We'll drop that next Thursday.
We'll drop that next Thursday. And then, like I said, I had Emily Slade on as a guest, and we talked about Dragonheart and Suspiria. So those couple episodes of archive reviews coming up, and then Duncan and I are going to cover some more stuff as well. And then we'll be back for a stream in about a month.
Yeah. We'll try and make it as regular as possible.
Yeah. So. And there will be a Patreon stream in between time. That's the idea.
Yes.
I am going to endeavour to do a gaming stream soon, because I've done one in ages, and now I'm better set up for it. I sooner or later I'll get Ivan on remotely. He did come on and do a remote gaming stream with me a while ago, so I'll get Ivan back on, but I'll probably do some gaming stuff on my own as well, because I like doing that, and I'm so obsessed with Sniper Elite. I love it so much.
I would love to do something. This is the thing. When you go off and work on a movie, it's like, it'd be great to do a little vlog for you all from there. But it's like, really, given where I'm working, I will just be in a hotel when I can actually film anything. Otherwise, I'm having to go through very strict security clearance, and it's not just for the film; it's for where we're shooting it.
Where you're shooting.
So I'm not going to be able to do any of that, unfortunately.
And most places don't want you shooting and releasing stuff anyway until they've released.
That too.
It's a bit of a shitter.
Yeah, I mean, I know them very well, and I could probably ask them if I could do something, but I won't. There's no point. But there was a very exciting. I'll tell you when we get off. Very cool, exciting casting announcement for that film, and it's possible that person is playing the character that I will be working with, but I don't know, or it's not. But I know it's one of two roles. I think, one of them might be who I'm working with, but we'll see.
Well, there you go. Well, that's exciting. I
could just text the producer and ask, because I know very well, and he'd just tell me. But I want to find out when I get there. Fuck it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. All right, I'm going to cut to those credits. Anything else to say before we go off?
No, other than thank you all for sticking with us. And me, I'm always so tired when I do this, and it's just because I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning and dealing with toddler and dealing with work, and I'm very tired now. So thank you. Thank you.
That's grim. Well, all right. Love you. We're going to cut to credits, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.